What is up, everybody? Welcome back to From the Crypt, where we, usually Derek and I, discuss metal and music and movies and games and franchises and all of that sort of thing because we like to talk about the entertainment industry as a whole, and we like to discuss all manner of things in the entertainment industry. Today, of course, we are doing our annual top 5 albums of the year in the year of our Lord, 2025. Man, what a year it has been, for fuck's sake, Jesus Christ. But before we get there, obviously there's some other beautiful faces in here with us today because we have Cody here with us. Of course, Cody's brand new to From the Crypt, but not brand new to me. I've known Cody for a long time. I met Cody in freshman year of high school, and I've also credited Cody multiple times in From the Crypt videos for showing me music, especially when Derek and I were doing our top 5 albums of the year from 2000 to 2001, 2002, 2003, and so forth. There was a lot of music in that time period that Cody showed me to and introduced me to, so he got some shout-outs there. He's finally here. He's finally made it to the actual channel on video. Say hello, Cody. How's it going?
Yo, y'all. It's good to be here.
Yeah. It's good to have you. And obviously, you know me. I enjoy just about every take you have on music and so forth because, like I said, you've shown me quite a bit of music over the years.
I am the almanac, without a doubt.
Yeah, Cody knows a lot about fucking music, and he's just like an encyclopedia of heavy music in general. So there's that. But of course, we also have the stunning and fabulous Toby down on the bottom left there, which you all have seen before, of course, but he is returning as usual for our 2025 list. And of course, he's been on a few of our other videos as well. I know we did our special episode when I was visiting Iowa in the car. That was fun, talking about some video game stuff. We need to do some more video game shit, to be honest with you. It's been a while.
Good. That's true.
We also
anyway, y'all, what's up, pussies?
Yeah, there's Toby. You all know the drill. Toby's our friendly neighborhood bitch, and he is here to give us some input on all things related to his top 5 albums of 2025, just like the rest of us. And of course, I'm Jacob, and we have Derek as well, down in the bottom left, or sorry, bottom right. I know how to do directions. I'm an adult.
But I'm a power bottom.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, I need that on a shirt with Derek's face. So
I'm a shirt machine.
Dude, Derek's been putting out shirt ideas. What was the other one that you did the other day? You said something and I was like, oh my fucking god. That needs to be on a shirt.
It was about Nightmare on Elm Street 2, basically.
He also meant that same thing when I was talking to him. Yes, was it yesterday? I said, if it's too slick for Taco John's, it's too slick for me. And he's like, I want that on a shirt.
What was the exact quote that you said, though, about Nightmare on Elm Street 2?
Oh, God. It's like, if your final girl is a girl, then you're good. But if your final guy is a dude, then it's just going to be okay.
Oh, yeah.
Something along those lines.
I'm gonna just go back. I'm just gonna go back and rewatch that whole episode so I can find it because I need that shit on a shirt so goddamn bad.
When I listened to the Spotify episode of that, I was like, okay, there it is. I think it was at like an hour 20 that I said that.
Okay, I'll go back and I'll listen from like an hour on. We'll see, but yeah, beautiful stuff. We got some merch that we need to make. We got some merch we need to make. I'm pretty sure we can link our merch to the Spotify account, by the way. I think that's a thing we can do, but...
Yeah, I mean, other artists do it, so yeah.
Yeah. I'll have to look into that and figure out how the hell that works, but... Anyway, yeah, what a fucking year, guys. It has been an insane year for music, which unfortunately was not the case, at least for me, and I know for Derek, and I think for Toby as well. Cody, I'm not sure about your perspective on that from last year, But I know for the three of us, at least, it was a overall disappointing year for music. There just wasn't a whole lot of really cool stuff coming out. But I know, Cody, you listen to a lot more stuff that is outside of people's peripherals. So maybe you can shed some light on the stupidness that was last year and so forth. But
I really got to disagree with y'all. There were some gems last year.
See, that's what I'm saying. I knew you probably did listen to more stuff last year than we did, but like I said, you listen to stuff that's kind of outside of people's peripherals, at least for us three anyway.
I want to say that there was one album that came out last year that wasn't even my number one. It didn't even make my number one spot, but to be honest, over time, I think it has become my number one. And honestly, it was probably one of my top albums of this year as well. Like, as far as listens go, Sleep Token. I know that's a controversial opinion amongst you fellers, but
Yes.
You had it in your top
Sleep
5.
Token's
last
album,
Big
it was in
miss.
my top 5, but it was not my number one. If I were to make that list now, it absolutely would have been my number one. I have listened to that album a fuck ton this year.
I think the only album that I've listened to, the only 2 albums I've listened to from my top 5 last year were Andre 3000's new song, The New Blue Sun, because that fucking weird flute shit that he did on that album was just so insanely whimsical, and I love every fucking second of it, and it just makes me feel calm and at peace with the world. And Currents, The Death We Seek, is the only 2 albums I think that were on my top 5 last year that I listened to this year multiple times.
Currents was my number one. I actually
Currents
was going to
my
go
number 3, but it would be my number 1 if I made this list to this year. It would be my number 1 easily. That shit
Currents
slaps
was
fucking hard.
Currents was playing in Davenport like 20 minutes from me, like a couple weeks ago, and I was going to go. I didn't even know about the show. Like, I just discovered it like a week before it was happening, and I was like, fuck it, I'm going. I love Currents.
Yeah.
And then I didn't end up going.
Yeah, it's a shame. That's all right, man.
Okay.
They're still pretty fucking big, and they're, I think, growing because of the album last year. People loved it. I think it was very well received. So, but I haven't even listened to my number 1 this year. I don't think. Maybe I did. Maybe I listened to it a couple times. But Truth Killer by Seven Dust was the only other album that I think I listened to from last year's top 10 or top 5. I haven't touched August Burns Red's album, and I didn't touch Baby Metal's album this year. Those were my other ones on my top 5 last year. I don't know. It just was not. Oh, Black Braid 2. I have listened to on fucking repeat this year, dude. That album has been on repeat for me multiple times this year. That would have been my number 1 from last year. Easily. If I was making my top 5 of 2023, Black Braid 2 would be my number 1 without a doubt. And when he released a fucking single like a month ago or a month and a half ago, I was like, holy fuck, are we getting a Black Braid 3? Oh my fucking god. And he hasn't released an album yet, so.
I saw them with Giria and Wolves in the Throne Room.
That would be a fucking crazy ass show.
Oh, it was. It absolutely was, because you know how much Wolves in the Throne Room means to me, and to see them at Now Club, it's like, obviously I'm going. And I gotta be honest with you, live performance-wise, I think I would have enjoyed it more if I could have heard the Native American instruments. You couldn't hear a single one of them on that stage.
Yeah, that's a fucking shame.
They, of course, played very well, and I enjoyed it. It was just, there would have been much more to it had you been able to hear those instruments. But I haven't really listened to the album from them, to be honest.
Oh, dude, Black Braid 2 is a fucking masterpiece. It is a phenomenal masterpiece. Black Braid 1's good.
Was hilarious.
But
one thing that was hilarious when they played was there was this guy, this tall dude. He was kind of bullying the crowd a little bit, bullying the pit a little bit. And he kept booing them and giving them thumbs down and stuff, all this. Man, you know that I'm a bit of a brute and a powerhouse. I clocked this dude in the ribs, like shoulder checked him in the ribs so freaking hard that he sat out of the pit for Wolves in the Throne Room and literally approached me after the show and was like, dude, you hit like a fucking cannonball. And I'm like, well, you're the one being a dick, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
what an asshole, dude. Fuck that
guy. Yeah. I taught him his lesson, though, so that was fun.
Look, I don't care how much you don't like a band. As long as the band is not, like, being directly hurtful towards anybody, let them play their fucking music, dude. Like, don't boo the band, dude. Come on. Unless they're being an asshole. The only time it's okay to boo the band is if it's Ronnie Radke. No, I'm just kidding.
it really was killing the vibe because, like, Giria, I even looked at it, like, before they started playing, like, there was a band that played before them. I think they were called, like, Witch Hoax or something like that. Kind of, like, mellow, not very, like, fast-paced or whatever. And I looked at this dude next to me before Giria played, and I'm like, I love how we just went from that to getting our faces fucked by Giria here in a second. He's like, okay, I've never heard them. I was like, oh, wait. And the second they started playing, I just freaking stumped that dude right to the side. I was like, we're just going to get this rolling because holy crap.
Oh, bitch, get out the
And
way.
that was like, for like the first band playing, I mean, we had crowd surfing, a huge wall of death, like, you know, that whole show was crazy from the get-go. And then you just have this guy during Black Braid just like, the whole freaking time. I'm like, dude, you are killing the fucking vibe, man.
Fuck that. Yeah,
I do not advocate for violence. I advocate for pit justice.
Exactly.
And I was the pit judge that day.
That's awesome. But, yeah, no, dude, we've had a crazy year for music this year. Speaking of Garia, we'll definitely more than likely be talking about them at some point today. Because they have an album out this year.
Yeah.
As well as, unfortunately, Black Braid has a single, but not a fucking album. That's really upsetting. But if you haven't heard Black Braid 2, you should definitely listen to that shit. It's fucking beautiful. That being said, we will be listening or talking about a ton of other albums that came out this year, as well as some shows, dude. I fucking seen Kublai Khan twice. No, I didn't. I seen them once last year, once this year. That's what it was. And holy shit, they've got a new album out. They made you fucking know they had a new album out at that show, too. Holy fuck, dude. It was insane. Insane. And I can't even remember what band it was that opened for them, but it was the band right before them.
Was it Sanguisugabog?
Yeah. Sanguisugabog, that's who it is. Dude, I went in the pit one time, within the first 20 seconds, I found myself on my ass. My tailbone hit the floor and shot this sharp pain straight up my fucking back, and I could barely walk for 2 days. And they were the opening fucking band.
Yikes.
So I was pretty much just sitting here. Luckily, I was drinking, and Chelsea kept bringing me drinks, even though I told her not to. She just kept on bringing them. I asked her one time if she could grab me a beer. That was it. But she was drinking, so she was to the point where she was drunk buying. So she was just buying beers and bringing them back to me. And I was like, Chelsea, stop fucking buying me beers.
You know, I just want to say this. It is insane how, like, to the degree that you have corrupted Chelsea. If you had told me, like, when we first transferred to the fucking Keokuk Walmart, if you had told me that one day that chick over in apparel was going to be drunk buying beers at a Sanguisugabog show, bro. What the fuck?
I'll tell the rest of that story while we're not recording, because she'll fucking kill me if I do.
That's bad.
But there's plenty more to that story.
Also, I would like to... This is completely off topic, but real quick, I would like to make a formal apology to my lovely podcast hosts, as well as the listeners, for the quality of my mic. We had a solution, but our solution kind of got pissed on, or rather rained on, and then frozen.
Right.
I got stuck in an ice storm, so it didn't end up happening. Hopefully, this will be the last episode that I make a special guest appearance on, where my mic sounds like shit.
Otherwise, it'll be his last guest appearance, period. No, I'm just kidding.
Anywhere, they're gonna kill me.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. I think Cody may have had another energy drink poop. So he'll be. Oh,
Yeah,
there he is. Okay.
Weird. I didn't even.
He's just gotta load the tank up again.
I see. All right. Well, yeah, I think we can go ahead and just jump right into it. Introductions have been had. We talked about some cool shit that happened. Oh, one more thing that we need to talk about really quick for 2025 and fucking music. Gojira playing at the fucking Olympics, dude. That shit was nuts, dude.
Yeah.
That was
big
insane.
That was by far the highlight. That was definitely a highlight of the metal community this year.
Can we also mention Knocked Loose at Jimmy Kimmel? Talk about freaking metal being represented on TV, dude.
Right, dude. Oh my god. Knocked Loose with Poppy, mind you.
And all the people going absolutely berserk afterwards. Like, why would Jimmy Kimmel have that on?
I don't know if you guys...
My children were scared! Shut the fuck up.
I don't know if you guys saw Brian Garris's post about that afterwards when he responded to, the hatred that they were getting, where he said before they were, when they were walking to the stage, they had, pictures on the wall of famous people that have appeared on the Jimmy Kimmel show, and
presidents and celebrities and all kinds of high status people, massive
names. And his drummer, I think it was the drummer, bumped him on the arm and said, "We started in our garage." Yeah, that is just such a cool fucking story. Imagine.
And then he proceeded to say, "If you were scared, good."
Yeah, they're just kids, and they're fucking playing their music on Jimmy Kimmel. What the fuck are you doing? You know?
Sitting in the living room watching Jimmy Kimmel. Shut the fuck up.
Talking shit on the internet.
Yeah. And the thing, there was another thing in that post as well that he said about just wanting to see where they could force their band in that they didn't fit. And I was like, yeah, I like that. I fuck with that, dude. Fuck them. You know, if they don't like it, that is what it is what it is, you know? I hope that for the most part, people don't make music specifically for people to like it. I hope that when people make music, at the very least, they're doing it because they enjoy it and because they enjoy what they're doing. That's I think the primary reason anybody should be making music to begin with. Is to express yourself, to be doing stuff that you enjoy doing. And as long as you're doing that, dude, fuck Jimmy Kimmel's audience, dude. They can go and put their kids to bed early next time or some shit. Or maybe watch a different movie or a show or something. Don't get on the band about doing the thing that they're passionate about doing, you know, and making it big somewhere, like fucking Jimmy Kimmel of all places. But yeah, it's nuts, man. Linkin Park got back together, whatever. Gojira played at the fucking Olympics, dude. Come on, man. That's insane.
What another big presentation.
Yeah.
Make the music that you want to make. Who the fuck cares about what people think of your album? Anyway, you guys want to talk about what we think of these albums?
Yeah. Let's do it. Oh, nice transition, Toby. All right, what we're going to do, I think we did kind of something like this last year as well. We're going to talk about our least favorite or most disappointing albums of the year as well. And then we're going to talk about our best EP of the year right after this. Something Derek's been wanting to do the past couple of years. I think actually it might have started last year because of just how disappointing it was.
Yeah, we did include EPs or a best EP category last year before we rolled into the top 5.
Yeah, just because it was so hard to find a top 5 last year for us.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to take credit for the inclusion of the EP because I think it was the year before, 2022, maybe it was 2021. Impending Doom put out a fucking EP that was better than any album that came out that year. And I wanted to talk about it so fucking bad. And you guys were like, no, it's an EP. It doesn't count.
Yeah.
I mean, those the rules.
I know
man. I know for a fact
I was the one who said that. It's it's not an album. It can't be in the top 5 albums of the year. So yeah, EP gets its
Yeah.
It's good that it's getting included because I got a real doozy for y'all in terms of EPs.
Oh, good.
Mine is something I would have never expected to put as an EP, or that they would actually put an EP out and not a full album. But it was actually surprising how much I enjoyed it. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you guys want to do EP first, or do you want to do most disappointing / worst
most disappointing?
Okay.
Yeah, let's start with the shit and work our way to the good.
Okay, good. So for me, most disappointing album for myself, and I want to be honest with you, I could only skim through this one. Mainly because of the meaning, like what it means for this album to exist at all. And I put From Zero by Linkin Park. And I put this because of how much Linkin Park means to me. If anybody's watched our top 5 albums of 2000 and 2001, I think, whatever years Meteora and Hybrid Theory came out, I'm blanking on it. You would know that Derek and I hold Linkin Park in a very, very, very high regard. So it's the controversy surrounding Linkin Park this year and the lead singer joining and whatnot. It was just kind of a weird thing. You know, it was a weird, like, unnecessary thing to happen for some reason. And I wish they would have just started a new project. You know, lay Linkin Park to rest. Okay, let them go into history the way that they're going to anyway, because they were, if not one of the biggest bands on the fucking planet for a while.
Oh yeah,
they've made their grounds. Okay, let them go to rest. Start a new fucking project and move on. You know what I mean?
I think like putting out a bad album isn't like, yeah, it's disappointing, but it's not going to like tarnish your reputation. I mean, it's the same situation with Metallica. However you feel about Metallica's new music, most people are like, yeah, the first like 4 albums are fucking awesome, and then the rest is like, whatever. Like, Metallica could put out a fucking Lulu, and yeah, it's garbage, but like
everybody's forgotten it. For some reason,
you still have Kill 'Em All and Master of Puppets and whatnot. Like,
right.
Linkin Park's the same way. They can put out the worst album of the fucking year, and they still have Hybrid Theory.
That's the thing, though. Like, I don't think that. That's why I put most disappointing. I don't think it's a bad album. Like, musically, it sounds like Linkin Park, you know, but like, it's just not. It's the overarching meaning behind them coming back together, the controversy surrounding the lead singer, the overall hype, but then like completely ignoring some of the issues that people brought up with the lead singer. Like that's the part that was most disappointing for me. And it's not that it was a bad album. Like, under any other circumstance, it probably would be a great album, you know? It's just I if they would have come out saying that they had like the old singers or the old members of Linkin Park had formed a new band, and they were bringing on Brittany, or whatever the hell her name is, Emily
Armstrong.
Yeah, Emily Armstrong, to like join a new project. That would have generated just as much hype, if not more hype. And if they would have put that out, they would have been like, oh, this sounds very reminiscent of Linkin Park. I like it. But because it's still trying to be Linkin Park, and it just sounds like Emily is just trying to mimic Chester, that's where I think it fell flat for me. But
yeah,
you know. So, like I said, it's probably a great album to some degree. I just wish it wasn't Linkin Park. That's all.
That's valid.
But anyway, that's mine. Most disappointing album 2024. Cody, what you got?
So for me, the most disappointing album would have to be Bellum 2 by Aquilus. Now, the reason this comes up as most disappointing to me is Bellum 1 was for... When did it come out? It came out in... It was either 2002 or 2003. It was 2021. Bellum 1, in terms of symphonic death metal, blew me away to such a degree, to such heights, that, you know, even to this point now, it entrances me, like, on such a deep spiritual level. So when I heard that they were announcing Bellum 2 this year, I was immensely hyped. I was, you know, sitting there thinking, like, I really hope this is, like, extremely enthralling and that it's a good, like, come up and another great subsequent album to, you know, I was wondering if they could even top Bellum 1 because of the heights that album went to. And sadly, as I usually do with my workouts, I listen to new things and see what I think. My problem with this album is that, you know, Bellum 1 there wasn't. I'm not going to say there wasn't song structure, because there was, but even if it seemed like there wasn't, the impact of the riffs and just the way that they merged together was so seamless. I had high expectations. And Bellum 2 sounds as though there's so many ideas and so many, contributions going on that there is no song structure. And some of it just seems like, they're just good ideas, but they're not executed very well. And that really let me down because I was anticipating these strong buildups and these strong drops and these immensely dismal riffs that I was expecting from Bellum 1, and you just don't get that in Bellum 2. It's just such a mixed match of so many ideas that it's like if more time had been spent separating the good ideas from the ones that were more lackluster, I think this would have been what I was hoping for, but instead it's just a big mess. There's no song structure. There's no real flow. It's just idea after idea after idea with no correlation to each other and a lot of fluff. There's just way too much fluff, and it really let me down. It really, really drew my expectations down, and I certainly hope that they come up with something better next time.
Yeah, I've not heard of Aqualus before, but I'm looking at their stuff now.
You would appreciate the living hell out of Bellum 1. I've actually mentioned it to you guys, saying you really need to peep this because yes, you really need to listen to that. It will blow you away.
The album art is fucking sick too.
In terms of symphonic metal, as of late, I've been very disappointed, but that right there gives me hope for it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I never heard of them, so I'm always down to check out some new symphonic metal.
Absolutely beautiful. I mean, you have so much going on with it.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. It sucks that the Bellum 2 was not as fulfilling, but can't win them all, I guess,
Nope. Sure can't.
All right, Toby, what you got? Most disappointing of 2024?
I actually forgot to write one down. But
if you don't have one, it's fine. I mean, you don't have to have one.
No, I've got one.
Okay. After hit us then.
It's got to be As I Lay Dying's new album for me.
Oh, that's another big topic from this year too.
I know that Derek was saying that he kind of enjoyed the album. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's a bad album from a musical perspective. It's all right. It's just disappointing to me, first of all, but the whole shit that went down with Tim this year. I'm more disappointed in him than I am in the fucking album. But from a purely musical perspective, setting all of that aside, I grew up with As I Lay Dying. They were the first band that I really got into that had harsh vocals. They have been one of my favorite bands for years. And this is the first album that has the new lineup change. They don't have... I mean, the lineup stayed consistent. It's been the same people since, 2002 or whenever the fuck they originally formed. But this is the first album that has, a whole new lineup. The only two members that were still there is Tim and Phil, and now Phil is gone.
Yeah. Honestly, Tim might be gone too. Everybody might be gone from As I Lay Dying.
It's a decent album from a musical perspective. It just doesn't. It's not As I Lay Dying to me.
Yeah.
Tim Lambesis is as much a vocalist for As I Lay Dying as Josh Gilbert was. Josh Gilbert did the clean vocals on all of their music, and he just has such a fucking iconic voice, and you don't get that on the new album, and it's I noticed it.
It's new album represents the strife that Tim has caused.
Yeah.
And everything in its wake as well.
It's just a fucking huge bummer as a fan of As I Lay Dying, a big fucking fan of As I Lay Dying.
That's how
it just sucks to see them go down the shitter like this.
That's how I felt when Fallujah got a new singer. It just didn't sound like Fallujah. It didn't sound like the Fallujah that I enjoyed anyway.
But to be fair on them, he has more than redeemed himself, especially on Empyrean. That really rocked my world. Like, they really have returned back to their sound.
Let me see. I can't remember what the last I listened to.
I know which one you're talking about is Undying Light. I didn't appreciate that one either. But has like an I.
Yep, Undying Light, yeah.
It was
their album right after Dreamless, yeah.
He's more than redeemed himself with Empyrean. That sounds like Fallujah, without a doubt.
Oh, you know what? I had Empyrean on my honorable mentions for 2022. I'm pretty sure.
Very good.
I did have it on there. I do recognize this album artwork. 2022. That was on my honorable mentions. But that's the same way I feel about that when they switched vocalists, you know. And I agree. They have definitely gotten better and fully redeemed themselves from that. But when that first album came after Dreamless, I was like, man, this does not sound like the Fallujah that I like, because I love Dreamless, dude. Dreamless is one of my favorite albums of all time, probably. It's in my tens playlist. That's how much I love that fucking album. And yeah, the new singer came out, and I was like, he's good, but doesn't sound like Fallujah at all. And it wasn't just the vocals that changed. It was the problem. It was like everything about the band just sounded different. And I was like, fuck, you should have just started a new project at this point, you know?
Yeah, see, that bringing it back to As I Lay Dying, that's like the biggest problem with the new album that I had. Like, obviously everybody is different. Like, They have a whole new lineup. The only one that's stayed the same is Tim. And honestly, even Tim sounds different on this album. There's something about, like, I mean, maybe it's biased because he was, like, the first harsh vocalist that I really, like, took a liking to. But he's always been one of my favorite harsh vocalists in metal. And it didn't sound great on this new album. There was just something about it that maybe he's aging. Maybe he's getting back into the fucking drugs. I don't know.
Yeah.
But his voice just didn't do it for me on this album. And it sucks because, like, nothing else was the same. He was the only surviving thing from As I Lay Dying on this album. Yeah. And it just wasn't there for me. But yeah, what you got, Derek?
Okay, this one I am super bummed about. But it was The Surface Seems So Far by Seether.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Dive into that.
So, what was it? Poison the Parish and, loosely translated, If You Want Peace, Prepare for War, were steps in the right direction. They got heavier again, and I absolutely loved both of those albums, because Poison the Parish was my number 2 for 2017, behind Trivium, Sin in the Sentence. And then If You Want Peace, Prepare for War was my number 1 in 2020. And this album, they went for more of a radio sound. And I'm sorry, but when your first single is the heaviest track on your album, we're screaming that we've got a problem. And yeah, this one I couldn't listen to more than, I think I've listened to it 3 times. Just to be like, am I sure? Am I sure that it... Yeah, no, I'm 100% sure.
I agree with you, man. Ugh.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. And Toby, eat a bag of dicks. All right.
Wow, what the fuck did I do?
I heard you. I heard your thoughts.
Me? I didn't even say anything.
You didn't have to. Your eyes said everything.
I can't comment on it because I didn't listen to it, because I'm just not really I'm like a casual fan of Seether. I like their popular songs, and I don't really...
Well, don't listen to this album then. They've got much better.
I don't plan on it.
Okay, good.
I'll be honest, I don't think I listened to it either. I didn't realize that Seether even put out an album this year.
Yeah, like, I love the artwork for the album. Like, they put it out, I was like, oh shit. Like, I love this look. I'm for it. And then I was like, hopefully the album is as good, and it's not. It's such a goddamn disappointment. If anything, it reminded me more of, like...
Ooh, that is like really creepy. Holy fuck.
Yeah, it's awesome. But it reminded me more of, like, Isolate and Medicate, or Holding on to Strings, Better Left to Fray, music quality wise, which that's two of their weaker albums in my opinion. So definitely not a step in the right direction. And yeah, just disappointing. But The Surface Seems So Far by Seether, my most disappointing album of 2024.
Damn, that's rough.
Yeah,
that's rough.
I think it's time for us to pick up the pace in terms of positivity.
Yeah, we need to talk about some positive shit.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I still have one more thing.
Oh, no.
Word.
Oh, no. Hit us with it.
Never Needed to Exist album of 2024.
All right,
now,
hit us.
I wonder what this album could be. From Zero by Linkin Park.
Jesus,
this album, yeah. Well, I would hope so. When I originally threw this out there, I was like, you guys can guess what album this is.
Yeah. I was pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. For everything Jacob said for it being disappointing, it applies to this album just never needing to have exist, because Linkin Park should have just been laid down and they should have started a new project. It would have been better. But the reason that they didn't was money. Yeah. That is the only reason.
And they have made a ton of fucking money on this new album.
They have made a shitload of money. And I am happy for the people that like this album. I really, truly am. But when people try to say, oh, it's a brand new chapter for Linkin Park, really? Because it sounds like a shittier, ripped-off version of Meteora and Hybrid Theory. That's what I get when I listen to it. And then, the controversy surrounding it. Don't even get me started on that, because I have dove down that rabbit hole. And it's offensive to a certain extent that this would even exist. So, this album should have never happened. The end. Okay, now positivity.
Agreed. So, now that that's over with, everybody, it's okay. We're going to clear your palates because we're going to be talking about the best EPs of 2024. And I also am going to include a best single of 2024 because, unfortunately, these rat bastards didn't fucking release a fucking album this year or an EP. So I have a little separate mini section for that because it has to be talked about. It just has to be for the sake of its impression that it made. So
100%.
So first off, best EP of the year for me is Stereo Grief by Greyhaven. Greyhaven. Yeah, I didn't know anything about Greyhaven until we seen them live with I think it was Norma Jean, Fire from the Gods. Yeah, that was a fun show, and I had no idea about these guys. And at first, listening to them live, I was like, okay, I like these guys' energy. These guys are pretty cool and shit. And I went home and started listening to their albums and stuff. And then on repeat at work, I was listening to why am I blanking on the name of that fucking album?
Well, spit it out.
Oh, this Bright and Beautiful World. I don't know why I blanked on that. It's the one with the balloons inside the glass box and stuff on the front. I listened to that album like on repeat for a while, and they became a very, 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 very important band. Just at a very pivotal moment in my life too. I was going through some tough shit. I was about to move across the country. I was having a not so great time at work because they were hitting us with so much overtime. Like, it was just all kinds of shit going on when I had these guys pop into my peripherals. So when I found out they were releasing an EP this year, I was like, oh hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And it's fun, dude. It's a pretty cool EP. Definitely very reminiscent of this Bright and Beautiful World. And if you like that album, you'll definitely like this. Unfortunately, I don't think it had that oomph to it that the album did previously, so hopefully it's just because they have more to come, and some of their really, 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 really awesome songs will be on the full album when they release it eventually. But overall, damn good album or EP. Definitely check it out if you have not already and you're interested in Greyhaven. They're very, very cool sound, and everybody is just a master of their instrument in this band. Like, drummer's wild, guitarist is wild. The vocalist is fucking phenomenal. He's got so much soul and range in his voice, it's nuts. And then of course, best single of the year. I have to throw it out there, dude. A Work of Art by Ice Nine Kills. Holy shit, dude.
And Ice Nine Kills.
Dude, it is bumping. That song fucking slaps. Oh, featuring Shavo, by the way. I need to mention that. Featuring Shavo from System of a Down. That's insane. The fact that Ice Nine Kills of all bands has a fucking System of a Down feature in that motherfucker. Oh my god, dude. Jesus Christ, what a long way they have come, dude. But yeah, when I was at the Silver Scream Con and they were like joking around with us, or no, we were doing the Q&A at the very end, the very last day of the Silver Scream Con, and somebody asked them if they could have somebody featured on a song, who would it be? And Spencer was like, "Oh, dude, I'd love to have System of a Down on a song." And this is before they released the fucking single or announced the single at all. So we were all like, "Oh yeah, that'd be a sick feature, hell yeah." And everybody else in the band was like, "Oh yeah, that's probably my answer too. That's probably my answer. I'd probably like System of a Down." And then at the end of the fucking Q&A, when they released or announced the single, they were like, "Remember when we said that we'd like to have System of a Down as a feature on one of our songs?" Well, and then they went into the fucking reveal, and I was like, "You sons of bitches. You motherfuckers did it." And of course, we can't talk about A Work of Art without talking about the fucking music video. Holy shit, dude. Art the Clown delivering a fucking baby in the middle of a show and then throwing the baby into the bar. Like, what the fuck? What is going on, man? Also, Jose Mangan getting fucking chopped. Dude, what the fuck? That's nuts. It's nuts, and I love every second of it. But, yeah, dude. It was my top played song this year, so I had to fucking play it. Or I had to talk about it somewhere. And hopefully we can talk about their new album next year.
It was an exciting music video.
It was a very exciting music video. Also,
it was easily single of the year, yeah.
I just realized, by the way, if you're watching this, my dumbass put top 5 albums of 2025 on this banner. So I'm gonna I'm gonna remove that.
Yeah, way to go, stupid shit.
We're in the year of our Lord 2024. I don't know what the fuck I had that on there, so we're just gonna ignore that. As I'm talking about it, I was like, wait a minute, that's not 2025 yet.
This just in, we have listened to every single album that has come out next year, and we are rating them.
Okay, I switched.
Still no new Breaking Benjamin album. Damn. I can report that.
Jesus. Yeah, I just switched it to our logo. Sorry, guys. That was my bad. Oh, man. Anyway. Yeah, so Stereo Grief by Greyhaven, best EP of the year. And A Work of Art, best single, for sure. Cody, what you got?
All right. I was very excited that these guys announced this. We're going to go with Eden Trough by Asitis. They're a French band. They had released an album before called False Peace. Came in at like an hour and 15 minutes. Pretty grandiose album. You had a lot of really gut-churning, like, grinding riffs, a lot of very sophisticated leads, just a very chaotic and very diverse album. And when that one came out, I was thoroughly impressed by a second album coming out, because second albums are kind of hit or miss with a lot of artists. They either pull through and put out something really good, or they don't, and they flop after their first. And their first was honestly very lackluster, and I didn't really pay it much mind. But upon seeing the artwork for False Peace, it was a big step. And it was after listening to it, I had really seen the potential that they had. So upon hearing that they were releasing what I thought was going to be another album, they had labeled it as an EP, which confused me because the EP clocks in, literally at 30 minutes long, which I would consider an album, but they're calling it an EP, so we'll consider it an EP.
Damn.
It is called Eden Trough. Now, the difference between this and the album False Peace is that, like I said, False Peace is very grandiose. It's very long. There's a lot of ideas going on, whereas Eden Trough, it takes those ideas, but it is very straight to the point. There is no intro to this. The moment it starts, it is just, and you just get thrown into the midst of just pure chaos, like right from the get-go. Like there is no time wasted at any point in this EP. It starts off with 2 songs that clock in around 4 minutes long, and both of them are just in your face heavy. And this isn't like deathcore. This doesn't even classify. This is blackened death metal to the max. And, you are thrown right into blast beats. You are thrown into very strong chugs. And then it takes a small little break to go into some piano interlude, very haunting, very dark. And you're thrown into the song Tiamat, which is about 10.5 minutes long, and it is purely lead driven. That, and then the last song, Alabaster Bones, takes a step away from the chaos that you're first introduced, and it goes into the lead driven kind of stuff, the very long, grandiose sounding type of sound that they had in False Peace. And the delivery here and the execution, like I said, there is no time wasted. And every riff in this is so punctual and it is executed so well that for an EP following an hour and a 15-minute long album, they delivered. They delivered so hard. I'm beyond impressed. And it's something that, if you saw them live, they could play this whole thing as their set list, and it would be more than sufficient as a set list for the time that you watch them. Like I said, it clocks in at exactly 30 minutes long.
Hell yeah.
And you and I were talking about this kind of trend that a lot of bands are going towards, where it is short and sweet. Execution over long ideas and fluff.
Yeah,
and I have
quality over quantity.
Yes, and I'm really starting to appreciate that more, because sometimes I either don't have the time, or as I'm getting older, I don't have the attention span for something that's an hour and 15 minutes long. If it's something that long, you really got to present some heat.
Yeah.
And this kind of punctuality that I'm seeing with a lot of these newer albums, and we will approach this topic again for one of the albums I'm announcing today. I'm really for it, man. Like Kublai Khan also did the same thing, where the new album, I don't think it goes up to 30 minutes long, maybe 32 minutes long or something like that.
They Matt from Kublai Khan is the one that really brought it to my attention to begin with, was the fact that he'd much rather release an album or an EP or something of nothing but solid fucking songs that they love and enjoy, than release an entire album with mostly great stuff that they enjoy and love, and then a couple songs that they just have to add because it's not hitting the timestamp that they needed to hit, And that to me was what really broke my mind away from I need an album. And they released an album, and I'm looking at it right now. It's 23 minutes long, so
Exactly. So I really do appreciate that Ascidas took a step away from trying to be this long-standing, super long album type band, and they just go to the point with this. And the point has been made very well, and I really hope that they draw some more notoriety with this, because I think it's well earned.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out.
You should. It's good, dude.
I got it on my radar over here. I pulled it up on my Spotify. That's another thing I want to just mention, by the way. I'm not getting on my phone to text people and shit. When someone's mentioning something I haven't heard of, I'm popping it up on my Spotify really quick, so it's in my dome.
Well, definitely peep this, because especially considering how you and I listen to music, this is definitely up our alley, without a doubt. This is something I can definitely see you listening on repeat. It is that good, dude.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Same with you, Toby. You gotta hop on this hype train a little, my friend.
Dude, I'm here for it. You said blackened death metal. I'm in. I'm gonna be checking it out immediately after we get off this podcast.
The album artwork is fucking dope as well. That's kind of hard to see, but the album artwork looks pretty sick.
Best EP of the year, without a fucking doubt.
Send that in the Peckerheads chat so I remember it.
All right.
I'll do it right now.
Sweet. All right, what you got, Toby? Best EP, best single, if you got one.
All right, I'm going to shotgun through this real quick because I've got an EP of the year, a single of the year, and an honorable mention EP. The honorable mention EP is Under the Black Rainbow by King 810.
Okay.
King 810 is kind of, they're kind of hit or miss these days. When they're at their high, they're at their fucking high. Like, La Petite Mort or A Conversation with God is like in my top 5 albums of all time. Love it. It's fantastic. The album they put out right after that I can't even remember the name of, it's kind of ass.
You can't remember the name, then obviously it's bad.
Poo-poo.
It's Suicide Kings, I think is the name of the album. I don't know. Anyway, their fucking EP that they put out this year, mint. Fan-fucking-tastic.
Hell yeah.
That's the honorable mention. Single of the year, I wanted to include this because it did come out on an album, but the song itself is fucking incredible. It's probably my favorite song that was released this year, but the album that it came with was mid as piss. Tombstone by Wage War. Fucking incredible. Dude, I am the target audience for this fucking song. You use one of Kurt Russell's best fucking one-liners as your breakdown call out, I'm in. I'm in.
That's fair.
Bro, the second, like, I was listening to this song, it popped up on my TikTok, and it was just the fucking breakdown. Like, just the part where he's, you tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me. I punched the wall. Like, I just...
I thought you were going to say I punched my mom. I was like, don't punch Sandy, leave her alone.
Nah, dude, that was... I've listened to that song so many fucking times this year, it's unreal. But the album that it came with, like, I couldn't tell you a single song off that album. It's kind of freaking... It's kind of just forgettable.
Damn. That's rough,
But,
dude.
yeah. Tombstone, Wage War, single of the year. EP of the year. Now, I looked up the pronunciation of this before we hopped on here, and I'm probably still going to butcher it. Takikinin by God Hand. It came out right at the very fucking beginning of the year, January 26th. And, dude, songs like, let's see here, Habitual Liar, Always Tired, which is about fucking working a dead-end job that you just slave away at all day, every day. And then the standout song that kind of picked up some steam on TikTok there for a while, Constant State of Worst Case Scenario. Bro.
This album artwork is fucking just, like, ominous, dude. Holy shit.
It is... The album is only 17 minutes long. Or it's an EP, I guess. It's only 17 minutes long. It is heat. From the moment it starts to the moment it ends.
I'll definitely be checking that one out, too. God
it
damn.
is unfucking believable. Fantastic EP. Definitely EP of the year.
Nice. Hell yeah.
All right.
What you got, Derek?
All right. So mine is not like any kind of death metal or anything. So I'm holding down my. I'm holding it down on my end, I guess. This is my EP of the year because I honestly haven't listened to this artist in forever. They honestly got way too poppy for me very early on, so I wrote them off like back in 2009. But the second I heard Shock to the System by Daughtry, I was actually fucking kind of amazed because I didn't realize Daughtry could get heavy. And he gets heavy on this what is it? Just the title track, Shock to the System. Love that. Pieces was a big radio single for him. The Reckoning, like, definitely good. I know I was doing a lot of yard work when this dropped, and yeah, you bet your ass I was like fucking body slamming like chunks of fucking sidewalk because we were trying to remove a sidewalk just with The Reckoning fucking blaring. And I honestly wish Daughtry would have continued to would have been like this his entire career, because I would be a much bigger fan. But yeah, surprisingly heavy and just great vocals, of course, because Daughtry is a great singer.
He does have a
And-
phenomenal voice. He does.
Oh yeah, and you put heavy music behind that, it is.
Oh, yeah.
It is something to definitely check out.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's on the EP or not. I haven't listened to the EP, but I actually was just telling my sister the other day about his cover with Lizzie Hale of "Separate Ways" by Journey.
It's
I
not
was
on
like,
that one.
we were in the car, and I was just like, "Have you heard Daughtry's cover of Separate Ways?" And she's like, "No, I don't even know what that is." And I'm like, "Well, it's a Journey song. You're fucking uncultured." And I was
Fine,
like,
head.
I was like, she's. I mean, my sister's into like a lot of the same music that I'm into, and as soon as I said Daughtry and Lizzie Hale, she was like, "Ooh." But I'm like, listen, hear me out. I'm not a huge fan of Daughtry. I can't stand Lizzie Hale, and I'm not really a huge fan of Journey either. But you put all three of these together, it
piques
just
my interest at the very least.
Brilliant.
Hey Toby, can you sometime with your sister Fivehead do a carpool karaoke video with you singing Daughtry's parts and her singing Lizzie Hale's part?
Yes.
I want
Yes.
that more than anything in my life at this point. I want to see this video.
Actually, you know what would be funnier? It would be funnier if Jamie did Daughtry's parts and Cassidy did the Lizzie Hale parts, because Jamie's just got such a like monotone like low voice and shit. I fucking love him, dude. Oh man, I love Jamie. Dude, him and Cassidy singing that together would be fucking hilarious.
That's facts.
Love it.
I need this. Make it happen.
Yeah. We need to shoot them a snap right after this video. Hell yeah, dude. I haven't listened to Daughtry in a fucking hot minute.
Yeah,
I'm
right?
gonna be real with you. After I heard that cover of Separate Ways, I went back and listened to some of his old stuff, because Daughtry was kind of like a thing that my mom was into Daughtry.
Oh yeah, the first album, like everybody, like at least in my area, you love the first album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Generally
And,
speaking, the first album is pretty well received from everybody, I think.
Yeah,
I'm kind of, I don't know if I'm just hitting that age, but I'm kind of sinking into the dad rock kind of vibe. Like,
There
I've been
you go.
fucking with a lot of Nickelback, obviously.
Feels good.
Fucking Creed.
yeah.
And I was bumping, I'm not even gonna lie, I was bumping the first couple Daughtry albums for a while.
Dude, well, check out Shock to the System, because
You've definitely
It will
piqued my interest on it, for sure.
yeah, it is surprising how heavy it is, considering, like, basically I stopped fucking with Daughtry right when the second album came out, because it was just way more pop, way more radio friendly. It's heavy. It's very heavy for Daughtry.
Hell yeah.
This is like, it's complete sidebar, but we're talking about covers here, and I think this also came out this year. It was from the movie Fall Guy, which I have not seen, but Meg played this song in the car the other day, and it's a cover of "I Was Made for Loving You," but the cover is done by Youngblood, and the dude has like some of the fucking most incredible vocals on this song that I've ever heard. Like, it's fucking insane. Just the strain in his voice and shit is fucking nuts. And it's not even close to a song that I would listen to, really, the original or otherwise. And I'm not a huge fan of Youngblood either, to be honest with you. But she was playing this in the car the other day. I was like, God damn, Youngblood, what the fuck are you doing, man? Holy shit. But it is a fucking insane cover. Not gonna lie. Just bringing it back to the whole Daughtry vibe and shit. Like, he just has some fucking incredible vocals, man. But
Yeah.
I Was Made for Loving You by Youngblood. Never thought I'd be saying that on this episode, but here we are. All right. I think we've got our EP. Did you have a single of the year as well, Derek? Or
That you already said it.
oh yeah, a work of art.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. But now we're getting into the meat of this video. Our top 5 albums of 2024.
We have the meats.
We have the meats, just like Arby's. All right. So, my number 5 I was a little bit shocked that this made my list over a couple of my honorable mentions, to be honest with you. But I've listened to this fucking album so many goddamn times that I could not have it on my list. It is Dark Superstition by Gatecreeper. Holy shit, dude.
Right.
This album is fucking awesome. And I can't even explain to you why. Because to be completely fair with you, it just sounds like some really, really good melodeath, you know? Like, it just sounds like melodic death metal. There's not really, like, anything in my personal scope of being able to talk about this that I can tell you, oh, yeah, they did this so much better than previously. They did this so much different than people have done in the past and so forth. It just sounds like a really fucking solid-ass classic melodic death metal album. And I think for the most part, the reason why it hit me so hard was because I don't know if I think it made me feel nostalgic. Like I've listened to this before, and it just made me feel really good listening to it. And for that alone, I had to put it on this list. But the riff in A Chilling Aura, what the fuck, dude? They were cooking on that fucking song, dude. Holy shit, they were cooking.
They're very concise with their riffs. Their riffs always hit on point. They're always well made.
Absolutely. And this album was just so fucking good. Oblivion, Chilling Aura, and Tears Fall from the Sky were three of the songs that I've just scribbled down on my notes. But Chilling Aura is fucking nuts, dude.
Gatecreeper is also really fucking good live.
I believe it.
I would love to see Gatecreeper live. I didn't really listen to a whole lot of their stuff before this album, to be honest with you. Like, I've known of them and I've known about them and shit, but so me adding this to my list of albums to listen to was just kind of a whim. It was just like I'll check it out, you know. I did not for a second expect to listen to this shit on repeat. And then, of course, I sent you guys that video of Cora listening to Gatecreeper with me. She's our 3-year-old. She's sitting there in the back seat in her car seat going like this. I was just on my way to get coffee. She was just sitting, just bopping her head, and I was like, "Do you like Gatecreeper?" And she's like, "Yeah, I like Gatecreeper." I said, "All right, well, you're 3, so I'm not sure you understand what that means just yet, but don't worry, we'll get you there." But yeah, my number 5, Gatecreeper, Dark Superstition, fucking banger, dude. Cody, what you got?
So what I got is my old boys from Richmond, Virginia. They, out of a lot of bands that really come out of Virginia, because we don't have many that make any kind of fame.
Other than Lamb of God.
Yeah, of course, Lamb of God, but like that's one.
That's about it. Bad Omens, actually. Bad Omens is from Virginia as well.
We got Bad Omens and Lamb of God. Pretty notoriable. In terms of like the death metal and kind of more on the stoner doom metal side, we've got New Heaven by Inter Arma. Inter Arma has had a very strong presence in my heart. When I finally left Okinawa, Japan, and I finally got stationed in North Carolina, if you remember, I was quite a miserable soul in Okinawa, Japan. I hated being out there. The restrictions and being away from family for the first real time, having a Christmas that was like 80 degrees. Not really my favorite time of my life. A lot of stuff happened during that time, but I was not very happy. So when I was finally on that plane, I had first really listened to Inter Arma, and the song Iron Gate, The Long Road Home, really sits with me. Even to this day, it still brings a couple tears to my eyes because it just draws me back to so many memories of that time period. And I watched them develop their sound, and for a while, it's been this very fast-paced, very, very, I'm not going to call it melodramatic, but not grandiose either, but just this very concise kind of mixture of doom and sludge and black and death. They have a very diverse sound, but it is a very concise and well-structured sound. Like when you think Inter Arma, their sound comes to mind, and it is very diverse. And for something coming out of Richmond, Virginia, they really put a kind of name to the place, in my opinion. So seeing that they were releasing another album after their album beforehand called Sulphur English, I was very impressed with Sulphur English. It was very, I mean, it was long. It was very long, but it hit the notes that they always hit, and it brought that kind of mammoth stomping on you like they usually deliver.
Hell yeah.
They go an entirely different direction with New Heaven. New Heaven, it is produced very well. The doom elements are not really present this time. It is a lot more fast-paced. It is a much more melodic. And the kind of sound they deliver with this is really true to the name. It is very heavenly sounding. Like, these leads are very powerful, and they evoke very strong images of the Appalachian Mountains and, you know, the kind of scenery that you find, but it also has this diversity and this complexity that you would find in downtown Richmond, and this kind of antiquity. And, you know, there's a lot more blast beats in this. The blasting, but it's not like a conventional blast beating that you normally hear. This is something that is very individual that I think is to their drummer, and it adds to that kind of richness that you would see with this. And I mean, just the way it opens, it is just this ugly, like this hideous riff. And you think the whole album is going to sound like that from hearing it, but it's not. It is just so diverse in its sound, and there's so much complexity. For only being 42 minutes long, it feels like an hour. And not in a way that it drags on, but there's just so much richness to it that you feel enveloped. And gosh, what a way to go into, you know, having a new sound. And they ended off with this kind of folky sounding, what you would expect from Appalachian music. And, you know, it talks about an old man in his solitude that doesn't talk to people because of his grief and sorrow. And, you know, just start to finish, you, like I said, just a very diverse range of sound, and they pumped it out, dude. Like, my Richmond boys deliver, and they brought what I think Virginia has to offer to the metal scene overall.
Hell yeah. Enter Arma, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'll check them out too. That sounds pretty fucking fun.
Yeah, you piqued my interest.
And of course, I gotta rep my boys in Virginia as well. So
This is what I was most excited about having Cody on this episode. Is Cody is like so, like, I feel like me, Jacob, and Derek all kind of have, like, we all kind of exist within the same, like, bubble, I guess. Like, obviously
same
my
bracket at the very least.
Yeah, obviously my list is very different from Derek's, and Derek's is very different from Jacob's, and like whatever. But Cody is like, you listen to such fucking out there music that I've never heard of, and it's almost always a fucking banger. So I was so pumped when I heard that we were having you on, because I'm like, yes, this guy's gonna bring me some fucking music that I've never heard.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
I certainly appreciate it. I guess I have a reputation for being very articulate and eloquent, and I really want to deliver that. I feel like I have quite the list for you guys, to be honest. Like I said, I was thoroughly impressed with this year. It was very hard to make this list, and I had to base it off of what I've listened to the most, because so much has impacted me emotionally and spiritually that it was like, gosh dang, dude, this is tough. But like I said, I had to base it purely off of what impacted me the most, and what impacts me the most is what I listen to the most. So I certainly hope I deliver with this. I hope you guys check it out. Like I said, Enter Arma holds a pretty strong place in my heart. I've listened to everything from them, and not a single one of their albums sucks. Not a single one.
Fuck yeah.
I fuck with that. Yeah, I also found it pretty difficult to make this list this year. I had like 3 different honorable mentions that I have like right now in my top 5 at one point or another this year, until I was just like, yeah, I can't, because I've listened to this more. I have to put this in here and so forth. So I think it
was hard to make this list for all of us this year. There was like, I don't know if we said this on the pod or if we said this before we started, but this year has just been fucking insane. Like, there's so much good music that has come out of this year. Like, I'm making my list purely off of what I listen to the most. And like Cody said, what impacted me the most. Because to be honest, this has been the worst year of my fucking life. So music has really helped me get through a lot of dumb shit that I was dealing with. And I have kind of explored some different avenues in music because of that. So,
oh
yeah,
nice.
I mean, that's not nice. That sucks. It's been the worst year of your life, but
yeah,
that
part sucks.
When we have it's good that when we have those times that are difficult for us and, you know, warrant a lot of struggle and a lot of change, you know, especially in your situation, it's good that we've found so many avenues and so many different measures of expressing those emotions, because, you know, in the hardest times, like I said with Inter Arma, you know, that was one of the hardest points in my life. This was ostracization from my family. This was being sent to a foreign country with the real threat of being sent to a dangerous war zone, which did happen to me. And, you know, to find at least just a song that encompasses those emotions and encompasses that struggle and allows you to express it and for you to work for your own feelings, to have so much of that this year, to have so much that you can sit there and think and feel, you know, I think you'll find some salvation in the year, man. And I think music is our avenue for that this year, without a doubt. Like for me, you know, it's been a great year. A lot of positivity has come into my life, and I don't mean that in a braggart manner, but, you know, whether it's negativity or positivity, having avenues to express that, I think, really matters this year. And I think it brings us into what I think will be a hopeful 2025.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah, well said, because 2024 hasn't been the kindest to me either. So yeah. I agree more with Toby, but I want to believe what Cody said.
And I obviously I said this year was the worst year of my life, but like I feel like it's caused me to grow quite a bit as a person. Like I feel like I'm a very different person than I was at the beginning of this year. So
yeah,
I'm hopeful for whatever 2025 has had in store for me.
This year's been a doozy for a ton of people. I know you're referring to more personal stuff as well, but just like in general, also this year has been kind of fucked for a lot of people. We've also lost a lot of big celebrities and stuff. I know Tony Todd, James Earl Jones, Maggie Smith. There's a lot of big names that passed away, and a lot of tragic events that have happened, and assassinations and assassination attempts, and obviously the election was a fucking, just the whole thing was a joke. So it's just been a fucking weird year. But at the end of the day, music has been fucking phenomenal this year. And yeah, anyway, now I'm rambling. But go ahead. What do you have for your number 5, Toby?
Yeah, so like I said, I was exploring some interesting avenues in music this year, and this one it still kind of surprises me that this made my list, but this album touched me quite a bit. And it's not metal. This is the one and only non-metal album that is on my list, and it came out February 23rd. It is called Yours Until the War Is Over by Amigo the Devil.
Okay.
It is, if you guys aren't familiar with Amigo the Devil, I don't really know how to express what kind of music he makes. It's like folk, country, like
Southern
alternative rock kind of stuff, but it's like the subject matter that he sings about, and like the lyrical content, and the way he tells the stories that he tells in his music is unlike anything I've ever fucking heard before. It's like musically, it's a lot of banjos and like acoustic plucking guitars, and it's very it's something that I could see John Bernthal's Punisher beating the fuck out of somebody with a hammer to.
Sold.
But
yeah. Sign me up.
Okay, so if that sold you, there's a song on this album that I think you'll really like. Give me a second, I'm going to find the name of it. It is, what the fuck is it called? It is called It's All Gone. It's the second song on the album, and it just, like, I don't know if you guys have seen Punisher Season 1, but the very first episode where he beats the fuck out of that guy with sledgehammer in the construction yard, and that song is playing. I don't even know what the song is called, but it's very... That is like the vibe that I get from this song. Anyway, yeah, like the lyrical content in this album is like straight up like bordering on death metal territory. Like it's fucking brutal at times, and there's points in the album that are just so like emotionally touching that, like, obviously he's got his really fast-paced, like, upbeat songs about, like, once upon a time at Texaco. He sings about being drunk and running out of drugs, so he steals a car and goes to a Texaco to rob it for the money and ends up killing a man.
Naturally.
Damn, that's
as one does. We've all been there.
There's a line in this song that specifically is just so fucking death metal, it's insane. He's talking about
Coming blood.
But he says, and you just open the fucking drawer. But he pulled out a gun like a magician. Well, I've also learned some magic through the years. My bullet hocus pocus through the back of his head and made the side of his jaw disappear.
Jesus Christ, dude.
It's intense, dog.
Damn.
It is a fucking great album.
Damn.
It's very refreshing. It's very unlike anything you'll ever hear. And I actually had the opportunity to see these guys live. My ex was a big fan, and they played in Woolies in Des Moines, and a couple of her friends had some free tickets, so we were just like, fuck it, sure. I was not expecting to like this. I think it's an artist. He's got like a band behind him, but I think Amigo the Devil is one guy. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. And I also wasn't expecting to get into a fucking mosh pit at this show. He has a song called Murder at the Bingo Hall, and it is literally about a murder at a bingo hall.
Surprise!
I was genuinely surprised when he played that song and a mosh pit opened up in front of me. I was like, I looked at my fucking ex and I'm like,
time to go.
It was fucking good. But yeah, Doors Until the War Is Over by Amigo the Devil is my number 5.
Hell yeah.
That's very interesting.
Love
God
that.
damn.
Love
I'm
that.
still on the bullet hocus pocus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
My bullet hocus pocus through the back of his head and made half of his jaw disappear.
Jesus Christ.
I fucking want that on a shirt. That's what I want.
He might have some.
He better. If he doesn't, that we're talking a huge missed opportunity here.
I actually I bought a shirt from that show. I don't know where it's at, or I'd show it to you, but it's like he's got some pretty death metal inspired like merch that he sells at his shows. It's pretty cool.
I expect nothing less.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
All right, Derek, what you got?
Number 5. Now, I wrestled with this one, and I made my final-ness to it this morning. Because, like Jacob has said, there's been, like, literally 3, or in my case, 5 albums that have legit been vying for this number 5 spot. And ultimately, why I chose this one is the songs from this album just very catchy. They stay in my head, and I think about them constantly. But this was released June 28th, 2024. It is Keep Me Fed by The Warning. Just all around a great rock album. Has anybody even heard of The Warning?
No.
Believe so, no.
It's a trio of chick sisters.
Oh, word?
And yeah, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but the guitar, like the distortion in the guitars mixed with the female vocals just fucking works for me on a level that honestly hasn't before, because I like we just said earlier, I'm not a big fan of Lizzie Hale. I don't like Hailstorm, like, at all. And honestly, most like female fronted bands that I have at least heard, I'm not a big fan of, just because I can't get behind what they are singing about, because they're singing from a female perspective and I am obviously a male. So I most of the time it's just like, no, I can't do that. But this album, like with 6 Feet Deep, just it grabs you right by the balls. It's the opener of the album, and it's just got a sick fucking riff. And then More, which that song was actually released last year. That was like a mainstay for me to play on Clone Hero. Like I would play it on lunch break at work, because it kind of starts off with like an 80s, like I saw that somebody said this and I was like, this is perfect. 80s like Gary Newman, Blondie, like kind of electronic style, and then once it hits, it just starts fucking hitting. And then their main single off of the album was Sick. It's just they're screaming in it, of course, and I don't know, just the overall tone of everything just fucking hits right here. It's a solid rock album. And honestly, I was not expecting to like this album as much as I did, but like I said, it just stayed in there. And so it felt like a crime to put something else that I've listened to that like I've long since forgotten, or not long since forgotten, but it's not resonating with me. This album did. So number 5, Keep Me Fed by The Warning.
Yeah. I just looked that up, and they got a really cool Last Supper theme going on with the album artwork, which is pretty cool. I always fuck with shit like that. Looks a little chaotic. I fuck with that.
Oh, yeah.
An overabundance of food on the table for gluttony.
Love that. Love
All right.
that.
Number 5 is in the bag.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,
What a good start.
what a banger of a start. Now, number 4, I have Leap of Death by Left to Suffer.
That was a good one.
This one almost made my number 2 spot because of how many times I fucking listened to it.
Toby, what the fuck did you do with your background?
I was wondering the same thing. I have no idea. I didn't touch it.
Dude,
I had both my hands
Mine
up like
didn't do
this.
What?
Dude!
Hold on.
What is going on?
Mine's not doing
Mine
it.
doesn't do that.
Oh, this is bullshit.
I have no idea. I don't know how that happened or why that happened, but it happened.
It's Discord giving him a break for his bum mic. He gets the fun shit with his video camera because his mic's bomb.
This wedding's horse shit.
I love the fact that we have like a video podcast format going on here, but anybody listening to this on Spotify has fucking no clue what is happening right now.
That just means you got to go check us out on YouTube as well, guys.
Absolutely.
Go peep it. But
anyway, sorry to interrupt with my shit.
shenanigans. Left to Suffer put out Leap of Death this year and really did a thing. They really cooked on this shit, and just the opening track alone, Forever, has been stuck in my head for a very long time. And being able to see Left to Suffer live, I think it was last year, the year before, or whatever, whenever I saw it with you, Toby, and just the sheer level of brutality that they bring to their shows is nuts, okay? And then you give me something like Leap of Death that has some of the most like catchy like pop choruses and shit in it with deathcore mixed together is insane, dude. Like these fucking big ass metalcore hooks and shit that you would hear in like early metalcore, and like a Bullet for My Valentine song, but in a fucking deathcore band. Like I was just mesmerized by the whole fucking thing. But
got a lot of new metal influence in this album.
Yeah, there's a lot of diversity going on in this, especially for deathcore, which, I mean, let's face it, dude, deathcore has become saturated with a lot of copy and paste over the years. And
for sure.
It's unfortunate because deathcore is a really fun medium, you know? But to hear Left to Suffer, of all bands, take a step in a different direction was very refreshing. And I think that these boys fucking cooked up something delicious. And I 1,000%. You know how, like I was telling you last year, a lot of my top 5 albums I just haven't even listened to again. These top 5s, especially this album, will definitely be a staple from here on out. Like, I more than likely will listen to this next year and years following and so forth. Just a fucking banger of an album, dude. I don't even know what else to say. Just they cooked real hard and they made something fucking fine. So
I'll say something about it. I'll say something that might be controversial, maybe not. I would go as far as to say that Taylor Barber of Left to Suffer is the best vocalist in the deathcore scene at the moment.
okay.
Yeah, we actually kind of had this talk. Yeah,
he is ridiculously talented.
He's got a crazy range, dude.
Range is insane. Harsh vocals are unbelievable, and he can sing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys follow him on TikTok at all, but he posts he posts regular covers of like everything. Like, he'll cover Lorna Shore one day, and then like Ed Sheeran the next day, and he is just unbelievably talented.
Yeah, I follow him on Instagram. He does the same thing. He posts reels and shit on there, and just a fucking crazy vocalist, dude. Such a talented person.
He's funny as shit too. Like, he posts on TikTok like just random little shit, and there was one that just like it had me cackling because it reminded me of Justin. It was very Justin coded, but it's like the whole band is like sitting at a fucking fast food place, like they've got their plates and shit, and he reaches over the table and goes to like take one of their fries or some shit, and the dude like bats at him, and he goes, "I'm just joking. Just joking. Give me that."
Yeah, dude, he's such a cool dude. I recently actually seen that he was in some hot water for something. I'm pretty sure it was him, but it was because of like somebody had paid him for vocal lessons. Maybe I'm getting him mixed up with someone else, but someone paid him for vocal lessons or tutoring or some shit like that, and he like hadn't followed through with it. He like took the money and dipped or some shit. But like I think the scenario was he was just going through a bunch of shit and it was like delayed longer than he had anticipated. But he even went on record like apologizing for all of that and explaining that willing to give full refunds, of course, and if they're still interested in the vocal lessons, that he's still more than happy to do them. That he's just been going through some shit or just been super busy and hasn't been able to get to them or something like that. But I was like, guys, y'all need to fucking calm down with these accusations before you know the full story, you know?
Yeah.
And dude, we had a couple of things like that this year as well. The Oceano and them getting fucking torn apart because of shit that like could have been avoided. And I'm gonna be honest, dude. Adam from Oceano has been in just the most stupid scenarios, and I feel bad for him, dude, because I remember a couple years ago he said something like involving his faith, you know, like he's Christian and he's been open about him being Christian and so forth, and he was getting a lot of flack for it. I'm like, dude, he's not like preaching. He's not preaching or like telling you to believe this. He's just like, he said like, God bless you all or something like that. Like, shut the fuck up, man. Just let him believe what he's going to believe. Like, that has nothing to do with anything important, you know? Like, if that's just the way that he's addressing you guys as his fans and so forth, whatever. I mean, it's a compliment. It's a God bless you. It's a pretty general term for people to say, you know? And he got heat for that from his fans, like saying that, oh, fuck God and fuck Christianity and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, really? Really, we're going to go that route when he didn't do or say anything wrong in this scenario? But
you know, I love this scene with all of my heart, but sometimes I really fucking hate this scene.
Facts. There's definitely some toxicity.
Leave this guy alone.
Yeah, dude. Adam got the shaft on this deal and that deal. I mean, I feel bad for the guy, but anyway, Leap of Death, Left to Suffer, my number 4. Hit us, Cody. What you got?
All right, number 4. Oh, man, this shit rocked me hard. We're going to go with Unextinct by Hideous Divinity. this shit, oh my god. So I was already, these guys also place a sort of place in my heart, and I'll start off with a little story. So I mentioned him earlier, my friend Evan, he passed away. Great friend of mine, one of my like few real like male friends that I sit down with or sat down with and talked to about life. We had a moment, like it was our thing to sit down, listen to our speaker, smoke weed, and talk about life and our feelings while listening to the sort of change in perception that you get when you do smoke a lot, and see how music changed for us. And I had introduced him to Hideous Divinity with their last album called Simulacrum. He was impressed by that, and he did his own research. And he listened to the album before that one called Cobra Verde. And it opens up with a song called In My Land, I Was a Snake. And to this day, I still think about just the kind of like emotional connection that we developed listening to that song, because it's so in your face and so face ripping. Simulacrum delivered the same kind of energy, just pummeling blast beats, like immensely fast blast beats with chugs accompanying it, like very blistering overall. So they had released Unextinct, or rather announced it, and they had hyped this up pretty extensively, saying that like this is our most expansive, our most intensive work. We put a lot of time and effort into this. You could see it with one of their music videos they put out where the vocalist literally takes a knife and cuts his hands open to spread blood all over, I think it was like either a body or parchment or something like that. And Unextinct, man, this blows Simulacrum so far out of the water. Simulacrum kind of started introducing some like black metal elements to it, a lot of multi-chord strumming, tremolo picking. And they take that and they blast it up through the roof with this. They made the intensity even more substantial. They really bring this kind of epic sound to Unextinct while still maintaining the integrity of that blistering fury that Simulacrum brought. But this just, they announced that like some of their longest songs were going to be on this, and I was, iffy on it because I kind of associated short songs with them. So I wasn't too sure, but after hearing their first single and the first song, the Numinous one, I already knew from the bat just the complexity that they delivered with this, especially their drummer. Their drummer just, like, I already thought he was intense to begin with, but he goes above and beyond with this. And I mean, just from start to finish, it is just intense. And, like, they're an Italian band. Their vocalist is a surgeon for the voice. I don't remember what that's called, but he literally does surgeries on people on their vocal cords. He has shown videos of what vocal cords do with his own vocal cords when you do metal screams. And there's this kind of craftsmanship that you would associate with like Italians in general, just the kind of, work and effort that that Italians in general deliver with their work. You can see it with their food, you can see it with their art, their history, that without sounding a bobbity boopity as the stereotype goes, they bring that sort of craftsmanship and that excellent delivery and that, dedication to their work with this. And my God, man, this has just been on repeat going to the gym, dude. Like, it is so intense. And this
album artwork needs to be mentioned because holy fuck, dude. It's the deck of a fucking ship, and a vampire is sucking the blood out of the person at the helm, and the water is like going over the side of the ship.
Looks like fire.
It's just holy fuck, dude.
And
it does look like it's on fire as well, yeah, in the background.
Well, the water looks like fire.
Yeah, it's splashing up on the sides of the ship because they're probably in a storm.
Yep.
Which is also just badass.
Cool.
But
it is just, oh my God, man. Like, there isn't a single song on this that doesn't destroy you. There's acoustic guitar that brings that kind of Roman power to it, like, that sort of Italian antiquity. Like, they bring they bring the kind of representation for their country with this, and they just, I mean, it is such a well-formulated, strong black and death metal. Like, my God, man. And like the vocals are just so concise and so pure, and it's not overproduced. Nothing in this sounds like it was crafted to sound perfect. This is something that you would hear live. You guys have seen them before. Like, I'm very jealous of that.
We saw them with
Karak Angren, yeah.
Karak Angren, Hypocrisy, and The Agonist, yeah.
Like, you know, you guys know what to expect, but this takes those expectations and really blows them out of the water. In terms of, like, purely death metal albums, it triumphs. Like, it tops. Like, they delivered this year, dude, and I was expecting nothing less, and they took my expectations and just, boom, destroy it, man. I really dig this. It is a frequent listener for me, without a doubt. And if you're looking for something to, like, give you energy and to just pummel the living hell out of you, this is it right here. Death metal albums, all things considered, this is the one.
Hell yeah.
Unextinct by Hideous Divinity. Absolutely phenomenal.
Love that.
Fuck
Love that. All right, Toby, what you got? Number 4.
My number 4 was released right shortly after my personal fucking hell that I was going through started happening. So it came out just at the right time, and I started relating to it really fucking hard. It came out May 17th. It is called Devoid of Love and Light by Extortionist.
Nice.
Dude.
Hell yeah.
It's hardcore, deathcore, you know. It's just fucking like yeah, I said what I said.
Same.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about this album. It just fucking, every word of the album hit home for me, and it just did it for me. I saw him live like a week after I moved here. I spent like I dug into my last like $100 to grab a ticket and a shirt to see these guys, and like I walked up, I got this shirt from the merch stand. They were opening for who were they with? Attila. They were opening for Attila, and I mean, obviously Attila is like a significantly bigger band than Extortionist, so you know you've got Extortionist's little fucking merch table over here, and then you've got Attila's merch table over here with a line out the fucking door, and there's nobody at Extortionist's table, so I'm like, they're the reason I'm here, so I'm gonna walk up and grab a shirt. And I'm standing there, and there's nobody there. There's nobody at the table. Like, nobody's selling anything at the table. I'm just standing there looking at the wall of merch. And this dude runs up, and he's like, "Hey, sorry, man. What can I do for you?" And I'm like, "That one. That shirt right there." He pulls it down, and he's like, "All right, I got you." I'm Ben, by the way. Shakes my hand, and I'm like, "Holy fuck, you're the singer of Extortionist." Just met the dude right there.
Hell yeah.
I chatted with him for a little bit. I explained a little bit of, you know, my connection to the album that had just come out, and I was like, dude, you fucking, like, I know you guys probably get this quite a bit, but like, this album just fucking hit home. Every word you said in the album was just like perfect. Anyway, yeah, it's a great album. Go check it out. Devoid of Love and Light by Extortionist.
Hell yeah.
Disassociate
heavy as shit.
Was a fucking banger and a half.
Heavy as shit, but it mellows out and gets pretty real. So,
yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Hell yeah, man.
Number 4. This album was released January 19th of 2024, but honestly, I knew it was out the whole year, but I didn't even really start like getting into it until maybe October or November. But it is Saviors by Green Day.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
What?
Wow.
What do you think?
I haven't heard it yet, but I gotta lie to you, or not lie to you.
I've got
go ahead and lie to
your
me.
fucking face.
Go ahead and lie to me.
I'm not too keen on Green Day personally, and it's not because I think they're bad. Overall, they are an iconic band with, some very notable and memorable songs, very well crafted songs at that. It's just they were never my thing. And the album before this one that you're mentioning, Father of All Motherfuckers, was atrocious. I think of like, well, what is it? Anthony Fantano expressed this very accurately. That album was something that you would hear at a little league baseball game with the father who yells at his wife in public, clapping along to the songs because he's had too many beers. Like, oh, awful. So I want to hear your take on this following album.
Yeah, no. Okay, so first off, Father of All Motherfuckers was awful. It was bad. One thing that I noticed this year, though, is I've been getting more into Green Day than I was when, like, American Idiot was as big as it was. Because American Idiot just celebrated... its 20th anniversary. So, of course, I went back.
Really? Holy shit.
Yeah, dude, I know. I was a fucking junior in high school, so thanks for that, Toby.
Damn.
But no, on this one they reunited with Rob Cavallo, who produced Dookie and American Idiot, and they kind of dubbed this the end of a trilogy. I like the fact that they still, honestly, the lead single was The American Dream is Killing Me. So, what do we think that's about? I mean...
Just the state of where we're at today in America.
Exactly. And then it does still have, like, those pop punk-ness songs like Look Ma, No Brains, and what was the other one that really stood? 1981, which they're good, like not like deep songs by any means, but like you get popping for them. But one thing that I really liked about Green Day that started kind of with American Idiot, or at least by my recollection of it, because it could have been on other albums and I just never picked up on it, was they kind of inject almost like a 60s-esque vibe with some of their stuff. And it's very, very obvious in American Idiot, somewhat in 21st Century Breakdown, but like Corvette Summer and Susie Chapstick, they just have this weird like switching, and I could be butchering this and my wife will kill me for this, but they switch from like minor to major in like a very reminiscent way of older stuff. So I like that because obviously my parents are old as shit, so I was raised on literally all of that, so that just hits more home here. But this album, I don't know, it just hit for me. Like Saviors, Father to a Son, Goodnight Adeline, like it's definitely better than the last album, so I will say give it a listen. But considering the fact you've listed off bands that I've never even heard of, Cody, it's probably heavier than anything I listen to. I would definitely say check it out. It was a good experience all around, and definitely one of the better Green Day albums. If I had to legitimately rank it, I would probably say, if it's not on par with Dookie, it's just a smidge below, because obviously American Idiot's number one.
That's saying something, because Dookie is pretty iconic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, okay, and also, I'll just say this. I don't have a personal gripe with Dookie, but I've heard Dookie, I don't even know how many goddamn times, because
yes,
all of the kids in high school that had bands, what did they play? Basket Case, When I Come Around. So I've heard all of Dookie's stuff so many times. So an American Idiot just has more of a concept to it, and honestly just better written music. So that's why American Idiot's just number one, without a doubt. But yeah, Saviors, Green Day, number 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't listen to enough Green Day to contest anything you're saying. But I like the big stuff Green Day's put out, of course, like the popular shit. But I don't know. It's just never been my cup of tea either.
The older I get, the more I'm getting into it, and it's weird. It don't make any sense.
I have a lot of nostalgia for Green Day, not because I liked them, because they weren't really my cup of tea either. But all of my friends were like huge Green Day fans back in high school, right. So like I was around Green Day a lot, and I remember hearing that song. The American Dream is Killing Me. It came on the radio on my way to work one day, and I was like, "This is very like." It was hitting my nostalgia bone. It was pretty solid, pretty good song.
Nice. I'll have to peep it.
But right. Thank you for lying to me, Cody, with your opinion.
I'm gonna have to lie to you.
I'm gonna have to lie to you right now.
That was the best mishap of words you could have had.
Especially when I'm so good with words.
Oh shit! What the hell happened there?
Yeah, see, that's another thing. I'm like, you guys put me right behind Cody. Cody's like over here making like these legitimate like deep dive like reviews of the album, and then I'm just like, I don't know, I kind of like it. It's good. I like it.
Talk to Toby like he is 5.
It sounds good. It make my ear hole tingle.
Y'all flatter me.
It makes my pee-pee stand up.
Oh, shit. All right. What we got for number 3, boys? Number 3.
Oh, man.
I have a little album called Starfire by Darko US for my number 3. Bunny Suit alone was on repeat for me, dude. It was one of my many songs that I shared with the neighbors back when I was living at my old apartment on Smith Street. And for those of you who don't know about me sharing with my neighbors, they're obnoxious assholes that like just literally never relented whatsoever when it came to making the most obnoxious noise at all hours of the night for no reason whatsoever, any day of the week. And then to further that, my sister is a barista, so she gets up early in the morning for work, and my other roommate is a teacher, so she also gets up early and goes to bed late. So, as you can imagine, the very loud, obnoxious noises throughout the middle of the night were very fucking frustrating. Bunny Suit was one of those songs that I would play at the bright and early hours of the morning, very loud on my sound bar and my subwoofer and shit, and we would all listen to it together after my sister and roommate left for work. But yeah, recently listening to the whole album finally getting around to listening to the whole album, I realized that the whole thing is a goddamn bop, dude. I've listened to this album all the way through many a times now, and it's just such a damn good album. I mean, we were talking about Taylor from Left to Suffer being a phenomenal fucking deathcore vocalist, and I don't even know what you would consider Darko, because I guess it is deathcore, but also what the fuck even is Darko, you know what I mean? But Tom Barber, that's his name, right? Tom Barber, am I getting that right? Fucking insane vocalist, dude, and he's such a chill dude in most of his interviews and stuff that I've seen of him. Of course, he's with Chelsea Grin as well, but yeah, dude, it's phenomenal work. Probably some of Darko's best work, in my opinion. And number 3, Starfire by Darko US.
That one was definitely one of the honorable mentions that I forgot to put in my new list. So, yeah, that one gets an honorable mention on my list as well. That was a damn good album.
Yeah, such a good one. Definitely another staple as well. I'll be listening to this album for who knows how long, for a while. So, what you got, Cody? Number 3.
All right, number 3. Oh, I've been looking forward to this. I fucking dig this. We're gonna go with "Exhaust" by Puron. This is a surprise album, just dropped randomly, without any fucking warning, without any fucking mention. It just popped up in Apple Music, and I was like, oh, so we're starting the Friday off with this. So with their last album, Abscess Time, that clocked in at around 53 minutes. And the best way I can describe that, well, we'll go with like kind of the general themes of some of the topics they approached. One of the songs, what was it called? Not Another Day in Paradise. The Cost of Living, for example. That song approached this kind of theme of the idea that we where at one point in human history, more primate, more living amongst the trees, there was a kind of cohesiveness and, it was kind of assumed bonding. Food was distributed. We were coinciding with the existence of nature. And we have developed it into this concrete jungle where, you live in the greatest city on earth, and yet a man jumps out the window to die because he's so miserable. Why is that? Or, you have the lean years, which approaches the topic of aging and how you lose that leanness. And, you have this burden of age coming on. But when I look at Abscess Time, there was a lot of moments in it that, again, we're talking about fluff. We're talking about these moments where they do a lot of, I don't know what it's called, but when you think of like New York jazz and you think about those moments within songs where they're improvising together, and, like the guitarist will kind of play a riff and then the drummer will join in because he's feeling the flow, and then the bassist joins in. There's a lot of that in Abscess Time, which is fine. It's a great thing to go off of, but in my opinion, it doesn't contribute to the kind of theme and image that they were going for with Abscess Time. And that isn't to say Abscess Time sucks by any means. That was one of my favorite albums when it came out. It is so powerful, and it brings in this kind of narrative and this kind of viewpoint of what it's like to live in New York City. But if I were best to describe it, you are looking at New York City from a third-person perspective. You are on a balcony somewhere. You are at the distance. You don't see the nitty-gritty of what's going on. You just see the city and its grandiosity. That is not the case with Exhaust. The general theme of Exhaust is strange pains. The theme is overworking yourself in America. What does it mean when you clock in and you work for 12 hours and you clock out and you got to cook? You got to take care of kids. You're getting older, your joints are starting to hurt more. And there is this kind of imperative to Exhaust, whereas Abscess Time clocks in at 52 minutes, Exhaust is only 38 minutes long. And we're going on that theme of quality over quantity. There is no fluff to this. And there are no moments in this album that are slow. Not a single one. This is math metal. This is black metal. This is freaking there's not that many death metal elements to this. There is, but there isn't. They have a very unique sound. Like I said, it's very inspired by New York jazz. They're from New York City. And this, just from the get-go, you start off with what sounds like, I don't know what kind of machine it is, but it's something you would hear in a shipyard where it's just dun, dun, dun. It sounds like an exhaust. It sounds like a machine pumping, and it's, got this steam coming off of it. And from the get-go, it is just ugly. Every moment of this is so hideous. And, whereas Abscess Time, you're staring at the city from afar, Exhaust, you are in the city. You hurt. You hear the noise all day, every day. Every building is disgusting, and you see the depravity. Just looking at the artwork, it is a pigeon. A pigeon is something you very commonly find in New York City with its guts splayed about on an oil slicked road. You know what oil looks like? It looks like rainbow when it's dispersed amongst water on the road. And that really accurately hits with this. You think about life being destroyed by human nature. And you think about stress fractures and strange pains and, this kind of goal where we have as humans for advancement. At what cost does advancement come? What kind of pain and sacrifice is required for you to have that new technology, for you to have that system that somehow works? And that is really exemplified in this brief 38 minutes of blast beats and math metal and, these intense, raspy-ass vocals. And there's a point in this, it's called Out of Gas. It is the one moment in this album that slows down, kind of. And it is talking about how you are an engine. You are just, to the city, you are just an engine that is slowly running out of gas. And yet, as you run out of fuel and you lose your vitality and your vigor, you are still expected to work. You are still expected to throw yourself out there day in, day out. And this song specifically hits me because you really feel like you are in just some shithole dive bar with grease on the floor and sweaty men all around you. And this moment, particularly in the album, makes you feel all the years that have come into developing metal in general. You think about punk rock, you think about, you know, the animosity put towards people who were into metal and punk, you know, as its early stages were, and it explodes in your face afterwards. And good Lord, just this really drives that quality over quantity. You feel like you are immersed not only in the pain of the city and the pain of its inhabitants, but your own personal pain and your own personal sorrow and strife as you try and show up to work every single day. And yeah, this one hits hard, man. Exhaust by Puron. What a fucking surprise album.
God damn.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to follow that.
Yeah, I was going to say good
You don't
luck.
have to.
It sounds
Just
good.
express yourself how you see fit.
Yeah, no, I tried giving that one a go, and I was not a fan upon first listen, but I'll give it another shot.
Just you got to listen to the whole thing because, like I said, it is very abrasive the way it starts off.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh my god, but there's so much diversity and there's so many different sounds that occur within its 38 minutes. Like, it really does stress that feeling of stress and that feeling of being rushed all the fucking time when all you want to do is sit and relax for one moment of your life. And life in the human world does not allow that. The concrete jungle swallows us.
That's fair.
Checking that one out.
Yeah.
That sounds fucking... Like, the way you explained it was fucking cool as shit.
Yeah, I'll have to give it another honest go. But yeah. Hell yeah, man. All right, Toby, what you got?
My number 3 came out May 10th. It is an album by a band that I didn't really expect would ever make my top 5 albums of the year list. It is You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To by Knocked Loose.
All right. I knew it was coming at some point.
Dude, I've liked Knocked Loose for a while. Like, I know we've had that conversation before. I can't remember which of you 3 was not a huge fan of Knocked Loose. I think it's yeah. I think we had that conversation at one point. I don't know, man. There's just something about them that just, they get that fucking raw anger across, like the old Slipknot used to do. And it just fucking, this is their best work. This album is by far the best work that they've put out yet. Every single fucking song is lit as shit, bro. It's so good. The whole album, start to finish, phenomenal. Suffocate, obviously, but featuring Poppy. I'm not a huge fan of Poppy. I'm just gonna say it. Like, I don't really fuck with Poppy, but on Knocked Loose, bro, I fuck with Poppy on Knocked Loose. And I mean, we were talking about it earlier. I don't remember if it was on pod or before, but like them playing on fucking
Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah.
Unreal for the metal scene in general. Just getting that representation out there and letting these essentially kids live the fucking dream, you know?
Yep. Letting people scream about some shit.
I think this album definitely deserves the attention that it's getting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
You Won't Go Before You're Supposed To. Knocked Loose is my number 3.
Nice. All right, Derek, what you got?
Okay, so number 3, before I get into it, I got to point out that last year I had one album in my most disappointing list that ended up being on somebody's top 5. That was Seven Dust. You don't remember that?
I remember that.
Okay, so now the tables have turned and it has flipped and somebody has already said it was their most disappointing or one of their most disappointing, but I absolutely loved it. And I am also not I wasn't super familiar with this band until this year. But Number 3, released June 21st of 2024. It is Stigma by Wage War.
Gotcha.
Eat asshole, Toby. While... What was that?
Nothing? What?
I'll smack the shit out of you. But, no, everything that Toby said about Tombstone is accurate. Tombstone is fucking awesome. I mean, anytime you can reference Kurt Russell, or as something Kurt Russell has said in a song, you're off to a good start. For the love of God, I have Kurt Russell tattooed on my body. All right.
Hell yeah.
But I really, what got me into this album, and I guess into this band, because I never listened to them too much other than like Circle the Drain or High Horse beforehand. That was all I'd heard from them previously. Nails. Fucking groove as fuck. Industrial soundingness within. I am a sucker for industrial. Like one of the more recent, it might have been last year, maybe it was the year before that. Three Teeth. I dug the Three Teeth album. Very heavy industrial influence on that. But one thing I saw people complain about is the singles, Magnetic and Blur. And I'll be 1,000% honest with you, I don't get that. Because compared to some of the shit that's out there, these are good singles. I'm not going to say they're not. Some other standouts off of this. Self-Sacrifice and Happy Hunting. Just absolute bangers. These are songs that are actually in my 4-year-old son's playlists. And you do not know how many times we've gotten in the car, put on Nails, put on Happy Hunting. So this, maybe not the album as a whole, this has been some of the most listened to music I've had all year, just because of my son and his love for it.
Oh yeah.
I do have one gripe with it, and I would be a hypocrite if I didn't bring this up, because I know I did in 2021. In regards to Limp Bizkit Still Sucks. This album is 31 minutes. And I know, like Cody, you said you're kind of more into getting more into like shorter album frames. If something's good, I want more of it. Like, I'll be completely honest. If you could, like, one of my favorite albums, or I guess I should say two of my favorite albums, are the Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 albums. And they clock in at 76 minutes and then 72 minutes, I believe. I could be wrong on numbers. I am a fan of long albums. If it's good, I want more of it. So that's the only complaint that I have, is that there's 10 songs, but it's 31 minutes. I want more. I want more.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love long albums. You can ask Jacob. Some of the reason he listens to long albums is because of me.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. I love my long songs, if more than anybody. I will listen to a 30-minute long song and enjoy every second of it. It's just as I'm getting older, it is becoming harder to impress me because of the fact that I've listened to so many long albums. Like they've mentioned, I'm a bit of an almanac with music, man, especially heavy metal. I've been listening to heavy metal since I was 10 years old. That's 20 years of finding and exploring as many long albums as you can possibly imagine. So me approaching 30 in 2 months, it takes a lot for a long album to really impress me, because I've been there and done that. I've heard the extremes and heights that, you know, you can find in metal music. And, you know, Jacob's kind of complaint and gripe with me sometimes, and we butt heads about it, as Toby has seen, is, you know, it is hard to impress me sometimes. It's not because I am a little critical, and it's not to be rude towards the artist or towards the artistry. And I usually can still appreciate things. Like, I listened to that Ice Nine Kills album that we argued over for no fucking reason. And it was good. For metalcore, which is my least favorite subgenre, it really did deliver. And it brought on a lot of creativity, a lot of fun. But that isn't to say that it impressed me. It takes a lot for me to look at something and be like, God damn. It's just in my older age, and as I have found and explored, I do appreciate this kind of short format, only because, and this is only because the bands I'm mentioning have delivered it correctly, are bringing something that, even though it's short, it is so substantial that I'm willing to look aside its lack of length. But don't get me wrong, if you can deliver on a long album, I am more than likely going to listen to that.
He's just been appreciating the girth a little bit more as of late.
Yeah, you know I like it thick, baby.
Appreciating the girth a little bit more than the length. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, number 3, Wage War Stigma. That's all I got.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Work.
All right, we're in the home stretch, guys. Home stretch. Number 2. I have I'm literally down to the fucking artwork. Okay, this shit buzzed my balls so juicily. Oh my god, dude. Absolute Elsewhere by Blood Incantation.
I just saw them play that album too.
Dude.
Live.
I have so much respect for this fucking album that, like, holy shit. When you guys, I'm pretty sure it was you, Cody, mentioned to listen to the Blood Incantation album. One, I had never heard of them before, so at first, I was just like, okay, yeah, I'll check it out. And it's a new album, and generally speaking, when I'm putting together this list every year is when I listen to the most new music. And I just so happen to have finally started that journey in making this list. So when you said that, it was a prime time for me to check out something new, you know? And I threw this in my playlist, which is full of albums, okay? I don't put singles or anything in my 2024, 2023, 2022 lists or whatever. I usually put the full album so I can just start an album and just let it play through until the next one, and those can play through. That way, I know, and I was talking to Derek about this the other day too, if I don't make it through that album, or if I skip a bunch of songs or whatever, I know it's not going to my list. First listen through, did not skip a single song, did not zone out at any point. I was fully enveloped in this entire fucking project the entire time, and I could not get my ears away from it, dude. This thing is mystical. I mean, I just don't even know what else to say. But even down to like the artwork, like I said, it's got that like classic 80s dark fantasy sci-fi illustration, you know, and fuck me, dude, I eat that stuff up. Just the art alone makes me feel like a child again. Just makes me feel so like just enveloped in this crazy wonder that these guys put together in this fucking album. And holy shit. If you can fucking check this album out at any point, you absolutely should. 1000% check this album out.
Yes, they played it live when I saw them not long ago, and it was just as mystical as you could fucking imagine. So many parts of it. Now, this one isn't on my list just because I've listened to so much of it now, and I've digested so much of it, and I've seen it live, I've heard it enough. It is in my honorable mentions. A lot of parts of it are just like Pink Floyd level, like Serenity. The death metal is so freaking impactful. I agree with you, man. This really, really delivered. They brought forth the fucking heat. Absolutely.
Also, something I noticed, and I don't know if it's personalized for like each person, but I noticed that on the Wrapped, the 2024 Wrapped on Spotify, where it has the categories for like 2024 in metal and so forth, Blood Incantation made the cover of that list.
Yeah.
And the fact that like it made the cover of that list at all, from being a band that I had never heard of, at least, that should speak wonders. You know, it wasn't fucking Knocked Loose. You know, it wasn't.
I think it was even. I don't know if it was. I don't remember which one, but it was more of a mainstream journal. I want to say it was Time magazine. It actually even showed up as like number 7 in their like best music albums list.
And for an album like this to receive that kind of praise is insane. Like what a world we're living in nowadays, you know, where something like Absolute Elsewhere could be in such high regard in the general public is nuts. I love it.
They sold out well over 10 or 11 cities out of like the 15 that they toured.
I believe it.
I believe it. Like just that Canal Club, my stomping ground, sold out. Not even Thy Art Is Murder's 10th anniversary hate show sold out, but this did.
God,
I've never seen the place that packed.
That's nuts, dude. I'm gonna try to catch them next year if I can. I know we're already going to the Poison Ascendancy tour. We already got tickets for that. in Boston, and then we have tickets for Insafirm already. So
I've been going to that one actually. Corpaclani and Saphira playing
That
at
seems
Wooly.
like a fun show.
oh, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I think I'm gonna do like Viking war paint and shit too. I think I'm gonna go full send into that shit. Braid my beard, all kinds of good shit. But anyway, number 2, Absolute Elsewhere, Blood Incantation. Fucking Christ, check it out, dude. If you haven't already, it is a phenomenal album. Even if you're trying to get into metal, like heavier stuff, this has plenty of things that are digestible to people that are not super into like the full blown pounding your nutsack with heavy shit, you know. This has got some slowdown points. It's got some very psychedelic points, some very trippy sci-fi fantasy sounding shit, and dude, just check it out, 100%. Anyway, what you got, Cody? Number 2.
This one's going to be harder for me to describe. I've had relative ease with being eloquent with my albums so far, but this one really, really even goes past my capabilities with words. We're going to go with Primordial Sky by Oryx, French doom metal band. You guys know by now, I fucking love doom metal. It's probably my favorite genre. I love the slowdown. I love the, emotional, the reaching emotional states that I feel like doom metal brings. It's not always just silly Candlemass stuff. It's really diversified itself as a genre. And for the past 5 years now, doom metal, in my opinion, has been putting out some of the best records. This is beyond a doubt one of like doom metal's really shining fucking moments. Like, just look at the artwork. I need you to look at the artwork for me to better describe this.
I'm gonna see if it'll pop up here.
It should. If not, I'll show it because I already have it pulled up on my phone.
Well, I have it, but it's got it zoomed in for some reason.
What was the name of the album?
It's called Primordial Sky by Oryx.
Really pastel pink and a floating city.
You know what it reminds me of?
Very ominous.
It reminds me of Breath of the Wild.
So, exactly. So, let me do my best to encompass this. That artwork really does hit home with what this is like. You are in this mystical city, but this city has its issues. And it's not so much the city's issues that are really emphasized, it's your emotional state. This reaches such levels of depth and complexity that, you think about bonsai trees in this, tranquil scenario in a really dystopian place. You're in a floating city, for fuck's sake, where the sky is literally pink. And pink is the color that I really do think describes this kind of autumnal, multifaceted, very enriched sound, and it really puts you into this melancholy spiritual state. There's only 4 songs. The first and the second one are the longest ones, reaching at 12 minutes long. The other 2 are 8 and 7 minutes long. This is such a varied and complex level of doom metal because it's not just slow dragging. It is in its own way, especially with those long songs, Primordial Sky and Look Upon the Earth, which in my opinion are the real shining moments on the song, not to discredit the other 2, but the other 2 are more straightforward. You got a lot of dense riffing, a lot of bumping to it, a lot of groove, but Primordial Sky and Look Upon the Earth really invoke these images of a sunset. You are immersed in that sunset. It is like a dream state. When I think of this album, I think about a dream I have where I am chasing a pixie in these old ruins, and it is in a constant state of autumn and sunset. And you are immersed in these ruins, and the deeper you go into these ruins, the more you feel the heritage. You feel the history. You don't know what that history is, but you feel the density of that history. You feel the spirituality within the air. And the riffs in this album really draw this, powerful... I wouldn't even call it winter. This is strictly what I would associate with autumn. And it puts me in such an emotional state. I just feel so enveloped in it. And it really draws you, especially as a doom metal album. Jacob's kind of gripe with doom metal is that it's long, it's slow, it takes too much time to digest. But this is so rich that it's easy to digest. God, it's so powerful, especially for a band that only recently got signed to Translation Lost Records. The album before it, what's it called? I'll pull it up right now. The album before this one, Lamenting a Dead World, very dense, very heavy, very boom, boom, boom the entire time. They take a much different step with Primordial Sky. It's much bigger, much more expansive, and the riffs hit an emotional state that isn't just sad and heavy. It's still sad and heavy, but the whole point is to draw you into a meditative, emotional state where you think about everything your life has meant, what life really even means in general. Without humankind, meaning doesn't exist. When you think of the moon, what is the moon? It's just a big hunk of rock that got dislodged from the earth, and it just rotates around it because of a gravitational field. If you don't add humanity to that, it means nothing. But to us, it is the moon. It is the bringer of tides. It is the thing that encompasses our world. It is the thing that you see in the night sky. When humanity was in its early stages, we looked to the moon as our connection to space. And without humanity, the moon has no meaning outside of that. And for an album to make me think about what it means to have meaning and to put me in an emotional state where I think about the importance of humanity and the importance of my emotions, as small as they are in such a big world, I think that speaks tremendously about the impact that this album brings to me. And that's why it's number 2, because for me to, doom metal always resonates with me, but you have to wait a long time usually to get an album like that. And for it to hit me so freaking hard, especially with only 41 minutes, gosh, dude, if you need an introduction and something to really put you into the world of doom metal, this is peak right here. This really blew me out of the fucking water. I was cycling 50 miles, and this was the first thing I listened to. And it set the pace for the entire thing. The whole entire time I was on that bike, this set the mood for the rest of it. Nothing I listened to afterwards trumped this that day.
Hell yeah.
Damn, we all hell yeah at the same fucking time.
It's so hard for me to and I don't even feel like my description now puts it into words on what this album did for me. Like I said, you really want to go into a meditative place and think about what it means and the importance of meaning and the importance of what it means to be a person. Listen to Primordial Sky by Oryx, dude.
Hell yeah. All right, Toby, what you got? Number 2.
Oh, man. My number 2, it came out September 20th.
I know what it is.
Oh, did it?
It is Never Neverland, Unto Others. It is, okay, so I discovered Unto Others, I think it was the album before this one. It might have been 2 albums before this one. It was with their song, When Will God's Work Be Done? I heard it on the radio, and I was like, holy shit, this is Typo Negative vibes. I fuck with this. And so when I heard that they were coming out with a new album, I was like, all right, word. I fuck with the Typo Negative vibes. This album is not that. It's got elements of the Typo Negative kind of gothic doom metal-y kind of vibe to it, right? But it's so much more than that. They have evolved so much since that last album. It's insane. Every fucking song on this album, and I think I said this on Knocked Loose as well. Every song on the fucking album is just peak. I can't skip a single song on any of the top 3 albums for me. he just, oh my god, the sound just evolves so much from song 1 to the end, and it ends with just the most beautiful fucking cover of Pet Sematary by the Ramones. It just, oh my god, I love it so much. I've listened to this album. I mean, it only came out, what, like 3 months ago?
Yeah.
And I've listened to this album more than just about any other album, like, at all, in general. Not even the ones that have come out this year. Just, like, this is by far one of my most, oh, that's my number 2. It's my number 2 most listened to album of the year. It is phenomenal. And it's not, like, it stays fresh the whole time. Because it doesn't fall into that lull where, like, the song sounds exactly like the song before it, and then, like, it just, the whole album just kind of bleeds together. No, you can you can pick out any one of these songs and it sounds unique to that song specifically.
Oh yeah.
It's
All right.
brilliant, beautiful. It just, yeah, I don't know. I just like the vibe of it. But yeah, Never Never Land, Unto Others is my number 2.
Hell yeah, dog. All right,
Attaboy.
what you got, Derek, for number 2?
All right. Number 2, released August 16th, 2024. We've already talked about it, so I don't need to say a whole hell of a lot about it. Left to Suffer with Leap of Death.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this album, I will say everything you said, I 100% back. Forever is just, God.
So good, dude. Fuck me.
If we did a top 10 songs of the year, it would be very high. Because let's be honest, work of art's going to be number 1. But that song grabbed my attention because it definitely wasn't what I was expecting. Because I honestly hadn't listened to Left to Suffer before this album. Because I kind of forgot to go listen to Feral, and then this one dropped. So I was like, okay, let me check this out.
Did you go back and listen to their old music?
Oh no, I know. Believe me, there's only one band on here that I had listened a full album or full albums before this year, and that was Green Day. Obviously, all the other bands were relatively new, or I knew of them, but I wasn't familiar with their works. Left to Suffer is definitely one of them. But yeah, absolutely amazing album. My only gripe, 8 songs. That's it. 8 songs. But, yeah, it does work with the 8, but like I said before, if something's good, I want more, and same thing applies to this one. But number 2, Left to Suffer, Leap of Death.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
Such a damn good song, damn good album, dude. I can't stop
A
listening to it.
A real shining moment in deathcore, because it's like you said, the scene has been very monotonous with deathcore.
Oh yeah.
You know, you have your Lorna Shore, you have some of the new Whitechapel, and you know, stuff like that. But god dang, it isn't hard to find something that stands out. And Left to Suffer brings those electronic elements. They bring pop elements, and they make it work. And it makes me feel like, as a guy getting older, I feel like it helps me connect with the young generation, and it helps me feel what they feel a bit. And I really dig it, man. Like, as a deathcore album, I think it's definitely like the best out of all of them. Like, fuck Lorna Shore. Sorry, like, I know everybody loves it, but Left to Suffer delivers. I saw them the Summer Slaughter tour this year, which a lot of people had gripes about the lineup, but Left to Suffer, that was one of the most hype I have been to in a long time. I'm not kidding. The entire Norva, you've been to the Norva, Jacob.
Yep.
We both have. I'm not kidding. There was a point where
the Norva is like, it's basically Woolies, but probably a little smaller than Woolies. Roughly the same though.
That entire room, I've never seen this before in all my time going to shows and moshing. The entire fucking room turned into a mosh pit. It looked like an actual battleground. Left to Suffer delivered the fucking energy so freaking much in that show.
They did when we seen them too, and that was before this album even came out. They fucking just annihilated that shit, dude.
It kind of worked. Like, as much as I love Left to Suffer, and like I love seeing them evolve and grow as a band, it kind of worries me that eventually they're going to get to a point where they push Loathe out of their set list.
Yep.
Because Loathe, seeing them play Loathe live,
Yeah.
I almost killed several people at that show.
Yeah.
Blacked out.
Yeah, no, I think that they could probably continue on this path for a while, and be content with it, you know. I don't think they're gonna pull a Bring Me the Horizon where they change their sound every album cycle. I feel like if they stick with this formula for a little bit, at least a couple albums, they'll be sitting pretty for a while. I don't think they'll push out Loathe, honestly. Loathe is a pretty big fucking deal with Left to Suffer, so I think that'll probably be a staple, but
that song also came before they really blew up. Like, I mean, obviously that was their song that like thrusted them into the mainstream, but like the album that came out after that, Disappoint Me, Feral was the name of that album. Skyrocketed them into the mainstream. Like, I would argue that most people that have heard Left to Suffer have heard songs off of that album more so than have heard the stuff that came before. So, and I mean, this new album just furthers that trend. Like, they're just stepping up the fucking stairs, you know?
Yeah.
So I worry that eventually it's going to get to a point where they're just like Motionless in White. Like, obviously everybody loves Creatures. Like, that was where everybody discovered Motionless in White, but they've gotten so mainstream and like their popularity has risen so far with Reincarnate and On that now the general public just knows Reincarnate and On, and they don't care for Immaculate Misconception or Abigail played live, you know?
Dude, I was so upset when they didn't. I was so upset when they didn't play anything off of Creatures when we seen them. That was a big L, to be honest.
I guess what I'm saying is I hope Left to Suffer doesn't become Motionless in White, where like they get to a point where they're so popular that with their new stuff that they're not playing their old stuff anymore.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so without, I don't want to ramble too much further because we are going above time here, but I did want to mention the Lorna Shore thing that you said, and it's the same thing with Spirit Box as well. I feel like Spirit Box and Lorna Shore, I know completely different genres, but like they're fucking massive, and I love Spirit Box, I love Lorna Shore, but my biggest gripe with both of them is that regardless of their popularity and how much people love them, and I think Bad Omens is now suffering from the same thing, they don't put any fucking music out. They put out like especially Lorna Shore. Like, Lorna Shore hasn't put out anything, I don't think, for a while now. And Spirit Box releases like a single every now and then, you know, like it and they finally announced an album next year. I'm like, dude, like, trust me, I love them to death, and I don't think that they have to put out an album every year. But like, come on now, it gets to a point where I'm just like, all right, I'm getting, like, I love the music and stuff like that, but now it's being pushed away. Like, my hype is being pushed away by all this other stuff because there are bands and artists that are putting out music and are giving me stuff to listen to and so forth. Sorry for the dog barking if you guys can hear that. She's a menace. But like, it blows my mind how little content they put out for the mass of attention that they receive, you know? So
Lorna Shore fans be like, Lorna Shore hasn't put out an album in 2 years, I'm dying. System of a Down fans be dying in the corner.
Yeah. Breaking Benjamin.
13 fucking years.
Yeah. Breaking Benjamin, Tool fans. Agalock, yeah. Tons of people just suffering on that end. But anyway, before we get started on our number one, I'm going to rapid fire some honorable mentions. This we're not going to take up too much time with because we obviously would like to talk about our number ones. So,
I got a lot to say about my number one.
Oh, I'm sure you do. All right. Cutting the Throat of God by Ulcerate. Artificial Bouquet by Frail Body. Exhibition of Prowess by Kublai Khan. Le Chant de l'Aurore, I don't know how to pronounce that, by Alcest. Negative Spaces by Poppy. I Write to You, My Darling Decay by Awake and Providence. Incarnation by In Heart's Wake. Deathcore is Dead by Brojob. I just got to give a little shout out to Cocksnatcher because that song fucking hits different. The breakdown call out is phenomenal, and I bump that shit with pride all the time. Anyway, Time 2 by Winter Sun. Hit me in the feels real hard. Hit me in the fucking nostalgia bone really hard. And Perpetual Terminal by Darkest Hour. Those are my honorable mentions for the year. So, what you got, Cody? Quick, rapid fire.
We got Moon Healer by Job for a Cowboy. Okay. We got The Duality of Decapitation and Wisdom by Veilburner. Blight Privilege by Noctmistium. The Maldolor Chants, Old Ocean by Shamisk. We have Aperon by Hive the Hierophant. Cool World by Chatpile. We got Moon Taltuja, I'm sure I fucked that up, by Oransi Pazuzu. Absolute Elsewhere by Blood Incantation. We have, I gotta find the title for this one. No, it's called, we got Omegon by Wormed. I don't know how to say this one, because it's from the Faroe Islands. We got Men Goodst Hand Stirk by Hamford, and we got Southern Hostility by Filth.
Nice. I'm honestly surprised that Chatpile's not your number one. The amount of times you have mentioned Chatpile in our fucking group chat is insane for it to not be your number one. So now I'm curious.
It's a great album, but I gotta admit it was nowhere near as harrowing as their first album, God's Country.
That's fair.
But it's still good. It still fucks very hard. Still very great, and I was very torn on whether to add it to my list, but I listened to it a lot, but nope, just honorable mention.
Okay. All right. Toby, what you got?
It's a really good album. All right, honorable mentions. I've got American Motorsports by Bill Murray.
Nice.
Absolute Elsewhere by Blood Incantation.
Oh, yeah.
Cool World by Chatpile. Leap of Death by Left to Suffer. Southern Hostility by Filth. House of the Black Geminis by Please. I would probably fuck that up. Right to You, My Darling Decay by Awakened Providence. Hunger by Worm Shepherd.
Ooh.
And Exhibition of Prowess by Kublai Khan.
What the fuck is your number one then, too? What the fuck?
Interesting.
Okay.
All
right, Derek, hit me. What you got?
All right. Honorable mentions. Sum 41, Heaven and Hell. POD, Veritas. Wind Waker, Hyperviolence. In Heart's Wake, Incantation. Filth, Southern Hostility. Nothing More, Carnal. The Cure, Songs of a Lost World. Marilyn Manson, One Assassination Under God, Chapter 1. Worm Shepherd, Hunger. Bring Me the Horizon, Posthuman Next Gen. Ninja Sex Party, These Nuts. As I Lay Dying, Through Storms Ahead. And Oceano, Living Chaos.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, everyone's got me confused for their number one then, because I thought I had y'all figured out, but y'all fucked me up. Every one of y'all fucked me up. Okay.
I know exactly what yours is.
You already know what mine is. I wear my shit on my sleeve, dude.
I bet you can guess what mine is.
I don't think I can, dude. I was dead set on that shit being fucking Chatpile. I could have swore it was going to be Chatpile or Perion, or however you say that. I thought it was going to be one of those two. And you already said those two, and neither one of them were your number one. So I'm in the dark right now. I'll probably be like once you say it, I'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, no, I got nothing. But my number one, as Toby's probably guessed, maybe Derek's probably guessed, Cody, you may have guessed, I'm not sure. I have Hunger by Worm Shepherd. The Anguished Throne alone was fucking phenomenal, but also He Who Breathes Fire inspired an entire short story that I wrote. So I had to fucking give credit where credit's due on that one. Lyrically, it has nothing to do with the short story that I wrote. It's a matter of just the song title itself, He Who Breathes Fire, just sparked something in my head, and I'm like, I'm gonna write a short story now. Yeah, but holy fuck, dude. This album is incredible, dude. Easily Worm Shepherd's best album, in my opinion. And that's coming from a place of nothing but love for the band, dude. I've loved Worm Shepherd for a long time now. Toby and I got to see him live. We got to talk to Devin. We had Devin on Facebook for a while, who has recently gotten the fuck off of social media. He's not really anywhere to be found nowadays. I think he might have an Instagram still, but or Twitter or something. I can't remember. But either way, it's a shame that Devin is no longer going to be in the band because his vocals in this album are just stupid, and like in the best of ways, dude. I just don't understand how anybody can make those noises with their fucking mouth and throat and diaphragm, and it's insane. But what an incredible album! What a unique album for deathcore and just whatever you would classify it as, gothic, symphonic deathcore, or whatever the fuck it is. It's just insane, dude. And even when they slow down, with something Oblivion, blanking on the name, but anyway, that song is also just super fucking cool and chilling. And fuck me, man. Check out Hunger by Worm Shepherd. Please.
Do it.
It's so fucking good.
Good one.
It is unbelievable.
It is.
And it sucks. It really does suck that Devin is no longer in the band because Devin's vocals, the uniqueness of Devin's vocals is the reason I discovered Worm Shepherd in the first place.
Yep.
Because I have been following Devin since Devin to Embers, his solo project before Worm Shepherd.
Same.
Like, dude's just fucking insane. There's no, like, I know I said that Taylor from Left to Suffer is like the best vocalist in the game. Devin is like unmatched. There's nothing like him.
Yeah. He's definitely honed in his sound, and he sounds like Devin. I mean, he just is himself, and that's just exactly what you want. Especially with harsh vocals, because it's so hard to get a unique sound with harsh vocals.
And I mean, like we touched on earlier, it's hard to distinguish yourself in a genre like deathcore where there is so much copy and paste, but god damn it, the dude did it.
Yeah. By Jove,
he's a kid. He's a fucking kid. Like, he started this when he was like 18, 19.
Yeah.
Like, dude's insane.
Raw talent.
Oh, yeah.
Real.
Absolutely nuts, man. But, yeah, Hunger by Worm Shepherd. It's my number one album of 2024. What you got, Cody?
All right, Toby mentioned it. I will try not to take up too much time, but I got a lot to say about this one. House of the Black Geminus by Atlas. Jesus, dude.
Okay.
Dude, I don't even know where to begin with this. The main member, his name is I don't remember. It's like Kyle something, Austrian guy. He described this as, it's been a long time making this. The album that was before this, what's it called? Melano. Melano utterly just shattered my whole world. I'm a black metal guy, true to form. Like, I love my doom metal, but I also love my black metal. Very, very much so. And, Melano, just by the artwork, really encompassed the ferocity of black metal, but it put it on this cosmic scale. And it's very hard for me to find something that displays what I associate with space. Blood Incantation kind of had, that spacey thing going on, but it's very Pink Floyd. This is not like that. This is ferocious. It is bombastic. It is huge. Melano blew me away. And I was like, I don't think he can trump this, dude. This is beyond amazing. But lo and behold, as he described, this has been years in the making. There were lapses in his creativity. He's been making music since like 2001. But he said that this represents years of literal blood, cutting your fingers on guitar strings and sweat and tears and sitting there for hours on end trying to come up with something. And my God, does House of the Black Geminus really just blow Melano out of the water in so many ways? Just from the get-go, you are presented with this exploding like electronic sound, and it's just like dun 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 dun, and it's just, you know, you're like from the get-go, you are just thrown into a cosmic world. Like the artwork, you know, it's this man and he is like dissipating away. That's what it feels like. It feels like you're like DNA, like you're stuck in a claustrophobic little box and your DNA is getting blasted away by the stars, dude. Like, the guitar sound in this, it is staticky, but it is clean. It is not overproduced. It sounds like high quality guitar. This is something that one individual person put tons of effort into. And, you know, the blast beating is so fucking fast and so intense. And it's, each track is distinct from each other. There's not a moment in this where it blends together one fucking bit. Like, Through the Abyssal Door and Black Gymnast are the only two slow points in this song. But, like, Through the Abyssal Door is exactly what it describes. You are entering an abyssal door. This whole thing is just a traversal through fucking space. All the way to the last song, Eye of the Demon, Demon 1, where you have gone from the first song, which is you getting blasted into space. Eye of the Demon is at the very epicenter of creation itself. This is where darkness is so fucking dark that it creates light of its own nature. It is so cataclysmic and so intense. You know, this has been my most listened to. It is so listened to by me that Apple Music, when it shows you your most listened to, it's randomized. This is the only album, track by track in order, at the very fucking top is presented. I have listened to it that freaking much, and every single time I listen to it, I literally scream its lyrics at the gym because it just resonates with me so freaking hard. There is no other album that has defined my relationship with the cosmos and with black metal in general than this shit right here. This has trumped everything I listened to. There isn't, didn't even come close to what this album is. This shit is like, you know, you were talking about the monotony of the new 1349 album, which is like a premier name in black metal, and it kind of dissipates your hope for black metal sound. This rejuvenates it to such a degree that it's like, this presents the opportunities that black metal can like go. Like, it is that freaking good. I have been blown away by this. House of the Black Gymnast by Atlas. If you want quality and you want freaking 53 minutes of some of the best black metal I have heard ever, check this shit out. Holy crap, dude.
Hell yeah. I need to give it another listen. I know I did listen to it at least once, but I'm not sure, like, off the top of my head, I'm not registering it.
Track by track, it is just intense. There is not even the black, like the song Black Gymnast, which is just ambient. It is as if that you are in an abandoned pyramid meditating on the pure darkness that exists in your heart, the infinitesimal fucking nature of what your cruelty and what your maliciousness can achieve. It is so freaking rich and saturated in the darkness of humanity. It is so freaking good, dude.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, you sent that album to us in the Peckerheads chat. I was on my way. I had a 2-hour drive from Des Moines back home, and I popped that thing on. I was like, album artwork looks pretty sick. I'll check it out. And I straight up listened to it on repeat the entire drive home. I listened to that whole thing through, and I was like, dude, this is fucking awesome.
Yes, I'm glad to hear it, dude. Like, Jacob, you really got to step up. This will blow you away. It is the purest black metal. Like, holy shit. Every single time I've listened to it is as if though you're listening to it for the first time.
Yeah, I'll peep it. I'll peep it again.
It's good shit. I liked it a lot.
I will peep it again for sure. What you got, Toby? Number 1.
All right. Number 1. It's released April 19th, 2024.
Just a few days after my birthday, huh?
The Tortured Poets Department, the Anthology by Taylor Swift.
Hell yeah.
I knew
I
fucking
fucking
knew
called
it.
that shit,
Knew
dude.
it.
Jesus Christ. I knew I was forgetting an album that you couldn't shut the fuck up about. I knew there was one.
Oh, God.
The first half of this year was a very dark time for Toby.
Very dark times indeed.
Oh,
No,
fuck.
Obviously, I'm fucking with you.
I hope
No,
so.
No, my number one album, like, I mentioned this to you guys earlier when Spotify Wrapped came out, that I couldn't even show my Spotify Wrapped
Yeah.
because all of my top 5 songs, my top 5 most listened to songs on my Spotify Wrapped were literally the first 5 songs of this album in order. I was in the top 0.1% of listeners for the first song on this album, and the top 5.5% of the band in general.
Step your game up.
This album is just too fucking good to get one mention on my list.
Okay.
So it got 2. God Bless Texas. It's fucking Exhibition of Prowess by Kublai Khan.
Nice. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, I suppose. But I could have swore Worm Shepherd was hitting your number 1.
Dude, Spotify Wrapped also made me fully aware that my longest listening streak, meaning days in a row that I listened to Kublai Khan,
Yep.
18 days in a row.
Holy shit.
Nice.
And you know why that is? They've been sticking me in pets, running the bag freight, fucking slinging the bags of dog food around.
Hmm.
It's a workout.
Right.
So I will.
So is Kublai Khan.
I will pop this album on, and I was turning it into an even more intense workout because obviously, as we mentioned previously, this album's short. It's short, sweet, and to the fucking point. It's only like 23 minutes long. So I was challenging myself to pop this album on, start it, and knock out a whole pallet of dog food before the album ended.
Hell yeah.
And I am good at it.
Nice.
Oh yes.
The level of stupidity that enters a fucking concert venue when Kublai Khan plays Ant Pile 2 is dumb. Okay? It is fucking dumb. The level of fucking raunch that comes out of people when that man says 2. It's nuts. It's fucking incredible to see people rally around the number 2 in such a way. Past dumb people in talking about shit. I'm talking about just the number 2 being said by Matt Honeycutt from Kublai Khan. People lose their fucking minds. It is insane.
I'm so fucking upset that I didn't get to make it to that show. Like, I was beating myself up about that for weeks afterwards. I was so pissed.
Trust me, dude. It was such a fucking show. Like, I am so upset for you that you did not get to that show.
Like, I mean, as I said previously, this year has been a fucking roller coaster for me.
Yeah.
The first little bit of the year was it was a very dark time. I was in a very dark place. So that's where I was listening to a lot of like Amigo the Devil and stuff like that. Stuff like very existential shit. But dude, September 20th of this year, Kublai Khan pissed me the fuck off, and I have not calmed down since.
Oh yeah.
That's how you do it, dog.
Yeah, definitely a hard hitter. We're talking about quality over quantity, and it's just like, even in the music, it is not technical. It is not this cosmos encompassing like crazy grand scheme. it is just the simplest little shit, and yet that simplest little shit really like shows what it takes. How do I explain this? Because it's really good. Like, you know, sometimes it's not always the grandest journey that makes you jump, man. Sometimes it's just the smallest little thing that is delivered in just the right way that it can just exude so much human energy and so much human excitement. Literally, the number 2 and arf arf. That's all they need to pack venues to such a degree that it's just a can of sardines, of violence, a can of violence.
Dude, the same shit happened when they played, or when they released Supreme Ruler. Supreme Ruler is what, like 50 seconds long? It's not even a minute long. 54 seconds. And I'm guilty. Dude, I fucking played that song so many fucking times it's not even funny. Like, on repeat, I was listening to that shit.
Now that you have the context for, like, what my album actually is, I'm going to repeat this. I was in the top 0.01% of people on Spotify listening to Supreme Ruler.
Yeah, no, I feel you, dude. Oh my god,
but
incredible.
Like, you're right. It's not, obviously, it's not like some grand, complex masterpiece of an album. But what it is it taps into the primal fucking monkey brain. But it taps into the, like it sounds like I'm joking, but I'm so serious. It taps into the most primal part of your brain.
The most boonga boonga.
It makes you want to fucking beat your chest and throw shit.
And that is so raw.
The most boonga boonga of brain cells.
Like, you all know that I am a fucking musclehead. Like, I've been exercising since 7th grade of middle school. And, like, even I, like, as, like, you know, someone who can be unimpressed sometimes, I love the fucking energy and just that raw nature of Kublai Khan's newest album. Like, it's like you said, it just makes you beat your fucking chest, man. It brings out the gorilla in you.
It's just a bunch
and it doesn't need to be complex.
Just a bunch of good old boys from Texas,
dude. It has no need to be crazy complex. It is just delivered in such a way that you can't help but just feel like you want to punch somebody.
Yep.
And that's all there is to it.
I mean, obviously, I know we're talking about the newest album, but it's not even just the newest album. It's just Kublai Khan in general.
Yeah.
Like, I know one of my go-to songs when Derek would come into when I'd be throwing the fucking truck and Derek would come in bitching up a storm, hey, you're not going fast enough. My sweaty ass would be like, and I'd pull my phone out, hammer, set it on the fucking pallet, yo, on that butter, and then I'm just going.
Yep.
Like, Kublai Khan has, like, ever since I first discovered this band, they have been the band that gives me more energy than any other band. Like, I can't explain it. It's like I can take all the fucking energy drinks. I could fucking do a fucking rail of cocaine. Nothing is going to give me the energy that a fucking Kublai Khan song is going to give me.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
It's nuts, dude. It's nuts, and especially at their shows, dude. Their shows also just radiate that same energy. Before they even start playing, dude, you can just feel it in the air. It's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah,
don't do drugs,
it's good
kids.
shit.
Just do Kublai Khan.
Exactly.
That's right.
I'll put it in this perspective. Kublai Khan's energy radiates so much testosterone that even women feel testosterone at those shows.
Dude, I guarantee you Deanna could attest to that. She has grown to love Kublai Khan. And taking my little sister to a Kublai Khan show is just one of my most proud moments as an older brother. I mean, it's nuts. Yeah. And then seeing my little sister get fucking pumped for Kublai Khan is nuts. My sweet, wholesome little sister that is, like, into witchy shit and fall and crunching leaves and coffee is over here fucking getting lit to a goddamn Kublai Khan set. It's beautiful.
All I'm thinking about right now is, like, you and Deanna, like, at a Kublai Khan show. Deanna just riddled with testosterone, and just, like, you lean over and you're like, how you feeling? And she's like, I'm fucking great, dude. Deep ass voice. She's just like, dude, good. You see that fucking dude over there? I'm gonna beat his fucking ass.
I'm gonna beat that guy's bitch ass. Yeah. Oh, fuck. All right.
Really.
Derek, hit us with your number one.
Okay. Number one, released the same day as my most disappointing album of the year.
Rip.
September 20th, 2024. It is definitely Unto Others, Never Neverland.
Nice.
Toby, one of the best things you said that made literally no goddamn sense to me that I understood completely with this, and it still makes no sense to me even though I understand it. I get nostalgia for this band, and this is literally the first album I have ever fucking heard from them. Like, I don't get that statement, but it makes sense. Yeah, each song is its own identity. It's not the same song over and over and over again to the point where you're 9 tracks in and you're like, what song am I? Oh, I'm almost done with the album. I didn't even realize that there was a change, like, because everything just sounds the same and bleeds together. Some of my personal favorites off of this. Mama Likes the Door Closed, because I just get... I'm assuming... I'm assuming this is the one that you had suicidal tendency vibes with, Toby, because I definitely did like a suicidal tendencies and typo negative and Danzig vibes.
I saw a comment on Facebook under the music video for this song that somebody said this sounds like if Glenn Danzig was the singer of Suicidal Tendencies. And I was like, that is so fucking insane, and you're right.
Yeah, 100% accurate. And not only, like, was I getting, like, Suicidal Tendencies vibes on this, you know, with, obviously, the typo negative and Glenn Danzig-esque vocals throughout the entire thing, but I got on Cold World, which is probably my favorite song on the album, I got Tears for Fears vibes off of this, which... I'm still trying to explain that one to myself, but when I hear that song, I just think Tears for Fears. And then even Angel of the Night, there is a certain part in the chorus where the chord progression was bothering me because I was like, fuck me, this sounds like something familiar and I cannot think about it. And it ended up being Jenny Was a Friend of Mine by The Killers. Like, exact same progression. And I was like, okay, I can get down with that because I dig that song. Some other good ones. Obviously, Never Neverland title track is great. What is it? Farewell and Regeki. Love that. And this cover of Pet Sematary is easily the best cover of Pet Sematary I have heard because there have been a lot of bad ones. Especially whatever ones they had attached to the remake of Pet Sematary that came out a few years ago. This album is awesome. It is an experience. It keeps you engaged. And yeah, that's all the more I've got. So number one, Unto Others, Never Neverland.
Neither one of you guys mentioned a hymn reference with Butterfly. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't mention Butterfly because Butterfly is my favorite song on the album. I think
it's literally him.
Yeah. So the one thing that even when you described it to me, Toby, and Karen says the exact same thing, you were like him and Ghost as like I don't get Ghost vibes from it. Now I've heard other people say they do. That's cool. I never got it, but yeah, him 100% on Butterfly.
I'm tearing off your wings, Butterfly. It's literally lyrics in that song.
Yeah.
Rip off the wings of a butterfly.
Nostalgia is a good word that encompasses that album as a whole because it's like it all sounds very familiar, but it also all sounds very unique and fresh. Like it sounds like Unto Others, but it also sounds like him and Suicidal Tendencies and The Misfits and Ghost and Typo Negative at various different points throughout the album. Like you just get these little hints, like they're just sprinkling little bits of Typo Negative here and him over here, and it's just
it works.
It works. It works really fucking well.
It's a perfect mixture that just literally fires on all cylinders.
It's the perfect way of incorporating influence without being a copycat. because there was another band that came out recently, and we were talking about it in the Peckerheads chat when I discovered it. I don't even remember the name of the band, but it was literally just Typo Negative. Like,
yeah.
Fucking beat for beat, it was Typo Negative, and I was taking parts of their song and putting them next to parts from Love You to Death and like Christian Woman and shit, and it's literally the same fucking like chords and progression and melodies. It's exactly the same. That is shameless and it's lame. It's uninspired. It's boring.
It's not Manrix, is it?
No, I don't remember what the fuck it was called. It was Blue something, maybe. I don't know.
Part of me almost says you talked to me about that as well, because I definitely remember listening to something and I was like, this isn't even, like... I know they say imitation is the best form of flattery, but this is just a fucking flat-out rip-off.
Yeah.
I was almost convinced for a while that it was AI. That somebody had, like, made an AI version of Typo Negative and just put it out as their song.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's hard to tell these days.
Okay. I do have the collective top 5 completely ready.
All right, what you got? Hit me.
Okay. So, number 5. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing this, Cody. Aklis. Aklis? Okay. The House of Black Geminis with 5 points.
Nice.
Number 4. Worm Shepherd. Hunger with 5 points.
Nice.
Number 3, Kublai Khan, Exhibition of Prowess with 3 points.
Okay.
Number 2, Left to Suffer, Leap of Death with 6 points. And then number 1, and this is awesome, Unto Others, Never Never Land, 9.
Jesus.
I'm gonna have to peep it. So what was this points thing? What's that all about?
So basically, I take our top 5, and 5 gets 1 point. Basically, I flip the numbers for the points. So 5 gets 1, 4 gets 2, 3 gets 3, 2 gets 4, 1 gets 5. And then whichever one appears the most, like, it gets those points. So, for instance, the reason Unto Others is number 1. I had it at number 1 for the year, which is 5 points. Toby had it at number 2, which is 4.
Ah, okay.
So I collectively take what we have, assign a point value, and then whatever has the most points wins.
Just a little fun extra thing at the end of our top 5 rankings. And it also is odd because usually Derek and me are usually the ones that are closer in relation on these lists, but this year Toby and Derek were closer.
Damn close, yeah.
Damn close, because Derek and I have had the same number 1 and 2s, or at least like flipped at the very least, like 3 years in a row, didn't we?
I know
close to it.
2021 was definitely same 1 and 2, and definitely not 2022 because I had Ghost at number 1.
Oh, definitely not then.
Yeah, and then last year, no, I think it was just the 1 year we had the same 1 and 2, but we've had similar stuff in the top 5. But yeah, this year it was. Honestly, I shared the same with you and Toby. 1.
I feel like it is also worth mentioning that this is the 3rd year in a row that Worm Shepherd has made my list.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. Worm Shepherd's fucking phenomenal, man.
They're just out here putting out consistent fucking bangers.
Yeah, hopefully that continues without Devin, but
only time will tell.
See about that.
Kind of upset about the whole Devin thing, though. So, anyway,
maybe he'll reappear and like come out with his own. Maybe he'll revive Devin to embers. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick.
Oh damn! I forgot one thing about Unto Others. In Time Goes On, they actually use Navi from Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Hey, listen!
Hey, listen! Nice.
Forgot that.
All right, guys. Well, that'll about do it for our top 5 albums of 2024. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Cody, for joining us. Thank you, Toby, for joining us. It's been a blast, man. And, of course, can't wait to do this again next year, 2025, and I can reuse that banner that my dumbass fucking made for this year's.
Yeah, it's already made.
Hey, you know what? You know what? We did something last year that we should totally just start incorporating into these.
What's up?
What is a band? Everybody name one band that you hope puts out an album next year.
Ice Nine Kills.
Breaking Benjamin.
Trivium.
Ice Nine Kills. Trivium. Yeah.
Breaking Benjamin.
That's really hard.
Derek and I are sharing those three for sure, because I'm waiting. I've been waiting for a while now.
I've been waiting for fucking, it'll be 7 years in March for a new Breaking Benjamin album. I'm done waiting. Fucking put up or shut up time.
Yeah, facts.
I was a fucking dick about it last year too, and I'm gonna be a dick about it this year.
Derek, we might get a Trivium, Ice Nine Kills, and Breaking Benjamin album next year.
That's gonna be fucking rad.
That's gonna be rough. Top 5 list, dude. Holy shit! What a year.
I want it.
Same.
That's a damn good question. Well, they're already releasing it this year. Imperial Triumphant is one, but if I really want an album to come out, because they started touring again, and they're joining Wolves in the Throne Room and Emperor on their 20th anniversary tour of In the Night Side Eclipse, I'm going to go with Agalloch.
Oh yeah, dude, I would like to hear another Agalloch album for sure.
If you guys have not heard that,
you already know I'm fucking with Agalloch all the time.
I don't think I described this properly, but it's basically just like your most anticipated album of next year. It can have been announced, or it can just be something that you hope happens, you know?
I'm with Cody on that one, though, for sure. I really hope Agalloch puts out a fucking album. And you're right, they have recently started touring.
I'm really looking forward to Gold Star by Imperial Triumphant. Honestly, Jacob, I really think you should give them another listen. I really do think that you would like it.
I might give them a shot. We'll see.
Check out Alphaville. Right in front of me is a poster I got from seeing them live at fucking Riff House of that album, and I'm telling you, man, I really do think it will impress you. It is so diverse in its sound. It is very unlike anything I've heard, and they have released 2 new singles for Gold Star, and they are nothing short of impressive.
Definitely Imperial Triumphant's definitely a band that really shines live. I saw them open for Behemoth, and it's a fucking experience.
It really is. You think about New York City, and they kind of explore the themes of how grand and luxurious it becomes, and how depraved and disgusting it becomes. Much like Puron because they're both from New York City. Really draws you into what that life is like.
Nice. Yeah, I'll give her another shot.
Alphaville. Start with Alphaville. That's where I would start. And it's the audience, if they're watching, keep that mess. I think they deserve more recognition than what they're getting.
Hell yeah. What about you, Toby?
So
what you got?
Okay, so what do we have? We have, Jacob, you said Trivium,
Ice Nine Kills, and Breaking Benjamin. Also Agalloch would be cool. And Derek's pretty much in the same boat.
Yeah.
Agalloch.
Breaking Benjamin, Trivium, Ice Nine Kills.
As far as shit that hasn't been announced that I kind of hope happens, I'd like a new Sabaton album.
Of course you would.
Something that has already been announced that I think Jacob's forgetting about. Karok Angren's new.
Ah, yes, Karok Angren, my boys, dude.
I can't wait.
Did you watch that fucking interview?
No, I haven't watched it.
Dude, they literally talked about the album not at all. But the interview is still worth watching for sure. They're just a couple of really cool dudes. They talk about some really cool stuff. They bring up some really important topics about AI and the music industry and stuff. And I really appreciate their take on it, especially musicians, you know. And but they mentioned a resurrection song. That's all they said was because Sergor was talking to the producer about something, and he's like, yeah, when we were recording that resurrection song. And that's the only information that he said on the whole fucking album. So who the fuck knows what that could be? But it's got me intrigued. That's for damn sure.
Resurrection.
Yeah. So whatever the fucking topic of that could be, who the fuck knows? Especially with Karok Angren. But I'm pretty pumped, dude. I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah.
They're damn good storytellers. So
Yeah, they are.
I was gonna say, I hope they go back to the World War II setting, because obviously I'm just a fucking sucker for like horror stories set in World War II. I feel like that era and that setting is just like lends itself really well to a horror story. But like, no matter where they go with their stories, Carol Angren's just a damn good storyteller.
Oh yeah, I hope they hit us with some Where the Corpses Sing Forever vibes. That would be cool. That'd be cool.
I honestly really like the direction they went with Frankenstein and Montanus.
Yeah,
honestly.
Same.
I really hope it kind of goes on that some more.
Can't really see it.
In my opinion, that's been their best work yet.
Oh yeah. I love the album was fucking phenomenal, but I've got that poster. I'm pretty sure you got it for me, Toby. It's hanging right next to my side of the bed, which is funny because that means Meg gets to stare at it because she's watching the opposite direction. But yeah, I've got that poster hanging right next to our bed. I fucking love that album, dude. So good. But anyway, we've been going for 3 hours and 10 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Thank you all for watching again. I appreciate it. And again, thank you, Toby and Cody, for joining us. It's been a blast. We will definitely do this again next year for sure. And in the meantime, we'll just be talking about music in general. I hope you all enjoyed this video or this audio if you're listening to it on Spotify. Make sure you let us know down in the comments. What are your top 5 albums of 2024? And which one of our lists did you like more? Have you heard of any of these bands before? Are there any that you plan on checking out? Let us know in the comments, guys. Have a conversation with us. We'll talk to you. We love responding to comments. It's probably one of our favorite things about doing this whole thing. So is to just interact with people on topics that we like to talk about. You know, it's fun shit. So yeah. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, make sure you check out our YouTube channel where we have this whole recording with video plus tons and tons of other stuff that we will not put on our Spotify. Just because. So yeah, check us out on YouTube, check us out on Spotify. And if you are listening to us on Spotify, make sure you give us a solid review on there. That'd be cool. And I'm pretty sure you can comment on those as well. I think you can comment on Spotify podcasts. Yeah.
Can you?
Yep.
Yeah, you can.
I didn't know that.
Yep. I commented on Matt's the other day. Matt's the Heavy Scroll, his new podcast that he just started. Hopefully he puts out a couple more episodes on that. But
yeah, go check out the Heavy Scroll.
Yep, it's on theme. He he talks about music too. He's actually doing interviews with local and upcoming bands. So that's very cool. He's kind of giving them a platform to kind of discuss their music and so forth. So, as a matter of fact, his first episode was from a band from Chesapeake. So
I saw that he had posted asking if any bands would be interested in doing an interview, and I saw that Non Grata commented and said that they would be interested. So that's cool.
Yep, I tagged Non Grata and I tagged my buddy Vincent, and because I know he's in the scene quite a bit in Chesapeake and Virginia Beach and shit. So, yeah, he's got like 12 bands I think lined up. He just hasn't gotten to recording a whole lot of them. He's got episode 1 out, but that's it. Yeah. Anyway, take it easy, guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Yes.
Love you all.
Take it easy.